At this time, we will call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee DippeRz. Here. Trustee.
Here.
Pfeiffer.
Here.
Walschlager. Here. Connor.
Here.
Hallquist.
Here.
President Vanderstill.
Here. If you'd all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Trustee Connor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anybody that would like to speak in public comments, please feel free to step forward and speak. Do we have anybody on Zoom? Go ahead. Do we have anybody on Zoom?
I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about.
Just state your name and your
Oh,
address.
sorry, hi. Melissa Cady, and my address is 1001 River Reserve Drive in Hartland. Yeah. And Madeline, my daughter, I'm here kind of on her behalf. And this is just about the road on Maple Avenue when the speed limit goes from 35 to 45, and there's only one crosswalk to get out of River Reserve to go on. You have to cross it to go up to South, or you have to cross it to go on the sidewalk to get downtown or Nixon. And she was crossing on Friday, and a person stopped and like waved her to cross. And a person came and went around the car and almost hit her. And I'm just wondering if we could maybe drop that, instead of going up to 45, drop that down to 35. Because, it goes 25 close to town, then 35. Then right before that crosswalk, it jumps to 45. And if we just keep it 35, it might help. And then maybe just highlight that intersection. I made pictures here, but really you can't see it if the people don't know from town, or you can't really see it when you're driving. If we could somehow highlight it more or make that crosswalk more visible, because it's just, that's what happens is the people, and Madeline's little, so they can't see her, so the woman waved her on and she went, and then someone really almost hit her. So
Just going to ask, so they would have gone into another lane of traffic probably?
no,
I'm just
because I can show you this.
Sure.
There's a right turn lane.
I may have this for everybody actually, but.
I'll pull it
Yeah.
this up.
So you can see there's like a little thing where you can go around, and you're not supposed to. If there's like a painted white line, you're not supposed to. People do it anyway all the time.
Right, it's actually the train lane to turn.
Right, so the person did that, and like all the kids on the bus saw it, and they went, like my son goes to middle school, and they were like, your sister almost got killed going to school today, and like went up and told them. So I just know that that's gonna keep happening, how that is there. And so I just didn't know if there's a way we could put like school crossing or.
Well, what we can do, and if you want to contact the village tomorrow, or you
Yeah.
can leave it tonight so that we have your information.
Yeah,
That's a county road. What I want to do is get you in contact with the county supervisor that covers our
Yeah.
area, J.D. Leisman.
okay,
And the village is, we've worked on things, crosswalks and things of that nature. In fact,
Yeah.
the village and the police department worked really hard to get, the stop signs that are above.
Right, I
To
know.
try to make everything more safe, but I'd like you to get you in contact with the people that can
Sure.
really change that.
Okay.
What we can do from our end, because we do police it.
Yeah.
We can make sure that we at least make them aware so that they know.
Yeah.
We'll let chief know.
Okay.
And that we can maybe keep a little bit better eye. I mean, if someone's walking through a crosswalk, that is on the driver, but I'm glad that you brought that forward so that we can keep an eye on it.
Sure.
But we'll be able to get you in contact with the county also, so that you can tell them that, and possibly even go to a county board meeting to let them know what happened, why it's important
so the
that they
county would
address.
drop the speed limit down, obviously.
What was that?
The county would drop the speed limit down then.
The county is because it's
Okay.
their road. We
It's their
can't just
road.
decide it.
Okay.
But we absolutely will take it seriously, and we'll let our PD know, because we police it.
Okay.
That if something like that were to ever happen,
Yeah,
if something like that ever does happen, I hate to say get a cell phone out in the car, but no one was there, but it'd be
Yeah,
nice
it
to
was
know who it
her.
was. But yeah, we'll look into it.
Okay.
But if you could contact the village tomorrow, you can call for Ryan.
Okay.
And he'll talk with you about it, and we'll get you that information for the county, and even if you wanted to talk to the chief of police.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks.
The county is receptive. That crosswalk you're talking about is a fairly new one, if it's one by River Reserve.
Yeah.
We paid to put that in. Working with the county, we had to get their permission to spend our own money to put
Yeah.
that crosswalk in so that people could cross safely there.
Yep.
So they are receptive to letting us, working with us, but not necessarily paying for anything, so
Yeah, I mean, I'd almost honestly pay for it.
I hear you. I hear you.
There's a lot of kids in our subdivision, so.
Call us at the village hall again. I'll get you in touch. That's Tom. Tom can get you the contacts for, Public Works and everybody at the county. Start there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else that wants to speak in public comments? Okay. The first item we have on our agenda is items that are related to the vouchers. We have a consideration of vouchers for payments in the amount of $723,258.68.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers in the amount of $723,258.68.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay the vouchers. Any discussion?
I just had a question, and police isn't here, but I don't, maybe Ryan, if you know, on page 4, there's 5 of them here, it says phone searches for $160 some. I just didn't know what it meant by phone searches.
Let me just peek at that.
And if not, you can get back to, just curious.
No, who is the vendor?
LexisNexis.
LexisNexis?
Yeah, so LexisNexis is the company we use when they're doing trying to search phone records or get information of, any investigations.
All right, appreciate it, thank you.
Go off of what Rick just said, it appears that that's a charge for every single search, not just one overall charge. You said you'll ask on that? You'll ask on that?
That's what it is.
Anybody else? No? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have items related to licenses and permits. We have 2 of them. We have S3 Deli for Nixon Park and Industrial Park. They're here if you want to step forward. Requesting to have, and I want to say it just, a food truck in the Industrial Park and Nixon Park. And if you want to just introduce yourself.
Yeah.
And your address, or that you're representing S3 Deli, however you want to say
So
it.
my name is Matt Ballantyne. I'm the owner of S3 Deli at 131 East Capitol. I live at 725 East Canterbury Circle in Hart Ridge. We've had S3 Deli open since July 2nd. It's been great. That we love that the weather's starting to get nice because business is going to start picking up again for us. But yeah, we're trying to get my mobile food trailer down at Nixon Park during the beer garden. Anytime the beer garden's open, we've had through me talking to the customers that come in, the people of the village that are in my neighborhood, I've kind of mentioned it that, man, it would just be nice to have a little bit bigger food option down there. A lot of the people we hang out with are family members or have young kids, and I don't know how many of you all have young kids. I know a few of you on the board, but I mean, when you want to go to the village, especially on a Thursday night for live music, most parents are getting off at 5 p.m. They got to go home, get kids, try and figure out what they want for dinner. Nobody ever wants the same thing, and then still try and make it down to enjoy the festivities. So offering that option for, hey, we don't have to worry about that because we can go down to the beer garden. We don't have to worry about, going to grab something and taking it with us. It's just there for people, and, a little bit healthier option than just the burgers and the fries and, the fried food. So my goal is to provide a service that, at least from what I have heard and gathered from the people I've talked to, is much needed, and not only that, but wanted down at the beer garden. And then the second one is, it's funny that we're talking about this because I had 3 people from the industrial park come in today, and they're like, "Oh, we got an hour lunch today instead of half hour." But what I would like to do is, and I actually have a company there that said I could use the back of their lot that, to provide lunch for those industrial park workers. They only get 30 minutes, so they don't really have time to go wait in line at Culver's or Cousins or come all the way downtown. But if I had, my sandwiches, salads, and wraps ready for them, they could drive right up, pick it up. They have plenty of time to eat before they get back to work. And especially one thing that they mentioned is with 83 getting ready to be tore up, they're gonna kind of be boxed in there. And so to offer that option for them would be very helpful as well, so.
So at Industrial Park, you do have a private property that'll allow you to go on it?
I do, yeah. And I'm, until it's approved or not approved, I'll just kind of keep that to myself. But I do have a private property that has given me the okay that they would love to have me there.
Okay.
And a lot of them frequent the establishment anyway, so
Sure.
they said that they would love it.
Yeah. Private property is, you can go in and talk with staff to get the license for that.
Yeah.
If you're on private property, as long as you're not on the village road.
Okay,
If you have that license, you can get it annually or daily.
perfect.
I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I was not
Even-
aware.
I mean, that's already been
I was not
decided
aware of
unless
that,
someone
so-
disagrees with me, that permit's already there
Perfect.
for you to get.
I'll make sure I go pick that up tomorrow.
Yep, so I'm just, and then you'll be, I am correct on that, right? They don't have to come in front of us.
$150 a year.
Oh,
It's
perfect.
staff, it's $150, and then you're able to go on private property. You would need, is it per location? You would end up having to fill out some more
That's kinda what
details
we're-
than what's
it
on here.
goes to the food truck.
Well, I think that
Oh,
I would
okay.
stay in the same location every day, just so people aren't like trying to find me.
Okay.
It doesn't really make sense for me to move different locations.
Right.
I would like to just, and what my goal is to visit all of the businesses in there, prior to putting my food truck out there, to let them know, hey, we got some food options for you in the area.
Sure.
Leave some menus, leave some cards. It doesn't really make sense for me to move it around. Just kind of stay located, in a stayed location.
Well, the permit goes to the food truck, and we must have some kind of authorization from that private property owner that they're allowed to be there.
Absolutely.
So if you could get, yeah, even an email, something from them, obviously that'd be commercial property.
It is a commercial property.
Right, oh, no, I know that. I'm just saying, that permit though will allow you to go to multiple
Oh,
commercial
okay,
properties,
perfect.
as long as that's turned in that they have proof,
Absolutely.
but not residential. So on that one, that's already set.
Perfect.
Unless, if anybody on the board wants to touch on that for industrial, we have addressed that was
I
part of
think
the
that's great,
ordinance.
as long as you're consistent, and if you're gonna stay in the same spot where they know where you are, I think
Yep.
that'll work out perfect for you.
Yeah, that's my goal.
Yeah.
And I wanna tell you, it says mobile food vendors are not allowed to engage in business activities in village streets unless they have the village board approval, but they are allowed to allow on, private property with written permission and as allowed by the village board, but we've already decided that, so you'll be good on that for industrial
Perfect.
park. Now what is the name of the business where you're putting it?
I
Not
guess I
sure
would like to
yet,
keep
okay.
that by myself until I know it's good. It's one of the electrical companies that's over by the WAC.
Okay.
They came in today again, and I told them I was looking for it, and they're like, "Hey, we've already got the approval that you can park it in our lot." I meant to grab it before I left, but I've been at work since 6 this morning. They gave me their business card, and I'm just supposed to contact the person tomorrow to get the email saying, "Hey, it's okay that you're on our property."
Okay,
So
yeah, once you come in
I'll
for the
submit
permit,
it in
they'll
with
ask
the,
so that they know.
Yeah,
where
I'll
you're
submit it
sitting
in with the
and all
application for it. So.
that. Okay. Now, the other one you have on here is Nixon Park,
Absolutely.
or it says summer at Nixon Park. for
Yeah, summer at
event
Nixon
day.
Park. I would like to be there anytime that the beer garden's open. Again, I think that it's one of those things that selfishly for me, obviously, I know that there's a lot of foot traffic there during the beer garden times. Saturday with even the splash pad right there, there's just a lot of foot traffic and need for it, I think, to have a better food option or more variety of a food option. I know, and I did get her approval before I said this. I've talked to Stephanie from Beer Snobs about it as well. I didn't want to step on any toes when I first started this whole process, and so I approached her and said, "Hey, are you looking to do food? Because I don't want to step on toes." And her response to me was, if she has to do it, she will. She would actually prefer me to do it. I again went to her this past week and just said, "Hey, I see you posted something on Facebook. If you are going to do food, I want to present a menu that is not stepping on your toes so we can provide the variety if I am approved." And again, she said the same thing. She's not opposed to doing it. However, that little area where the beer garden's at and the beer is served, it's not really conducive to serve a big variety of things, And she thinks I guess me and her were kind of on the same page that, you know, having multiple Hartland businesses partake in the festivities would just be an awesome thing. I mean, it's gonna get, obviously, exposure to my business, that's gonna help me in my slower times. But also, it's just gonna give the people of Hartland really, at least from what I get, what they want, so.
Anybody from the board have any questions?
Only thing I'll say is, I'd heard rumors, so I talked to Stephanie on Saturday and just said, basically, it was a quote, I wanna hear it from the horse's mouth. Do you wanna do food? Do you not? I said, obviously, we gave you the contract, so it's your call. If you want it, problem solved. If you don't, then we need to explore other opportunities. And she said to me exactly what Matt said is, if I'm forced to do it, I'll do it. If I had my druthers, I'd rather let somebody else do it. I'd like to concentrate on just doing the beer and some other things, and said that her and, what's her partner's name? I can't. Tim. They were there last week in the facility looking and said it just didn't seem conducive to their standards of having food in there and doing a job where they felt it represented their business as well as they'd like it to be. So, that was the feedback I got.
I got a call today, Leo got a call today that they're looking about electrical upgrades to put in an oven.
Yeah, and I talked to her about all this, and really, she's trying to get everything in place, so if I don't get this, you know, I know she was looking at equipment today, she's like, you know, we don't have a lot of time to where after today, you know, you got the Bark River Bash that first week in May, and then the beer garden starts opening, so she's like, I do have to start looking at these things, because if I am doing the food, there are things that have to be done. And so that was kind of my concern after seeing the post on Facebook, like, hey, you know, is what you're telling me really what it is? And she said she is exploring things that she would have to do if she did take on the food. But like Rick said, she would prefer to have somebody else do it. And her and I have kind of gotten together, and she said she'd love to have me do it. So that's just the feedback I've got from them. So
I have a three-part question.
yes, ma'am.
And this isn't actually for you, it's for me.
Make
Did
it
she
easy.
sign the contract already, Ryan? Yeah. And in that contract, she had some food listed, correct?
Food and alcohol.
Okay, so from when we talked with her, this is what we're hearing tonight, at least in my mind, is contrary to what I heard from her personally, which is a bit confusing, and if she's already signed the contract, has she, I would think she'd want to come to the board and talk with us, or maybe be here tonight. Did she?
I did contact her to see if she could come tonight,
Uh-huh.
because she did tell me that I'm free to discuss anything that we talked about together.
Okay.
She unfortunately was just not able to come tonight. She just had other not priorities,
I'm
but
not saying I
other
don't
things.
believe you, I just.
Yeah.
It's very confusing to me, and especially if she's already signed the document.
Well, and I can tell you that when I talked to her, she was worried about that as well, because it
Okay.
does say food in there.
Yeah.
And she is worried about having food down there. But after seeing everything and then talking to me and kind of seeing what I could offer, she was like, man, that would be a really good thing. So I
would-
did talk to her about that.
I would think that maybe a meeting has to be held with staff and her and you. I don't know how that all,
You mean to make sure that she's on the same page?
yes,
I had a phone call with her Saturday morning and text, she wants food.
she does.
Yes.
I
Okay.
talked to her Sunday morning, she wants food.
I had a conversation with Tim Sunday night, and he was saying he doesn't know where those rumors are coming from, but he plans on having food. So,
I talked to her Saturday afternoon, so I think there is confusion.
And I talked to her
think
today.
we need to get to the bottom of it and find out for sure. I don't know if she's feeling pressured one way or the other, but I just don't feel comfortable.
Absolutely. And
Everybody's got different versions of it.
Here's
absolutely.
a third part of my question. This one is for you. Let's just say you're gonna bring food that, whether she has it or not, yours is gonna be different from whatever she
Yeah.
has. Are you gonna be able to be there consistently, sign a contract, and be there every single Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
Anytime the beer garden is open, whether it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or if it's a special event that it's open for on another date, I will be there. I will have staff.
Because we do have penalties if it's not.
Absolutely, and I talked to Stephanie about that, and I
Yeah.
feel like I should incur those same penalties if I'm contracted to do some food, so,
It's just consistency, because the citizens, they
Absolutely.
wanna know that they go down there, there's gonna be, turkey sandwiches, salad,
Absolutely.
whatever.
Well, and I think, again, I've obviously worked with more of you, or some of you guys, not all of you guys, but I think Rick, Shantae, I've even worked with Jeff before, when I say something, and, I'm at my shop from 6 in the morning until usually 8:30 at night every day. And it's because of that. It's the consistency that I wanna provide. If I put my name on something, it's not gonna fail because of me. So I'll be there every day, as long as I need to be, so.
Those are the end of my.
I guess my question or comment is, it doesn't so much even matter what Beer Snobs is doing. We need to figure out, this goes against an ordinance that we spent 10 months developing. Right, it's the first thing that's come in front of us, and we're like, well, maybe we should, what did we do? We're attacking the wrong thing here. If this is something that we want to consider, we need to go back to the ordinance and change the ordinance if that's something that we all think is a good idea. If we were to say okay to this, we're going against our own village ordinance.
Yeah, I don't disagree. If we do vote for it, then we're going against the ordinance, so we have to change the ordinance. But to back up, we have a signed contract from Beer Snobs, correct? And I'm agreeing with you, but we have a signed contract. They came forward and they said food and all of this. I personally, I can't sit in a room when they're not here. And Rick, I do believe you. I did talk to them on Sunday. They had heard the same rumors that everybody else is hearing. And some of the people that were telling them whatever, this information, again, they're not here, so take this as with a grain of salt, because it should be coming from them. But they did ask if they had to be here, and I said, no, you have a signed contract with the village. I wasn't gonna tell them that each time if someone's doing an event in the park, they have to be here, and maybe I'm wrong for that. But I told them, no, you don't have to be there. If you wanna go, you could, but you don't have to be there. And when I talked to them, they did feel pressured, but it wasn't from the village. They felt pressure, there was a lot of rumors going on, and they felt like they didn't know what was going on, so they said, do you guys not want us doing food? And I said, no, that's not true. But that's because people were saying it to them. I'm just saying what all I'm saying is what I've heard. And they do want to do it, but they felt like they were kind of being pressured, and they did say, they said, if the village wants us to work with Matt and do it, that's fine. We want to do whatever the village wants. If we didn't want them doing that, but they're like, we just want to know. They said they had already put a post up saying that they were doing food for Bark River Bash. I believe that you guys had a conversation about that.
Yeah, she said she doesn't have, and again, it's hard to talk when she's not here.
Right.
Because obviously it's a he said, she said, you're just taking my word for it. When I talked to her on Saturday, she said that she was asked what the kind of menu was gonna be, and she didn't have one, because she was waiting until my meeting tonight to see. And her comment to me was, if you're gonna be doing food down there, and I could just take care of the beer and wine, well then why wouldn't you do food for the Bark River Bash? So you would have a menu, not me. So I think the other thing I'm gonna say is, whether they have food or not, I think then it's just me and her working together to find a variety of foods. She can't offer everything I can, and vice versa. I can't offer everything she can. And I don't think it's a bad thing to have variety down there. If the more variety we have, the more residents of Hartland we're gonna please. So again, I'm going by what she told me. I would love to be taking care of the food. But even if they do have food, I think having a variety of menu items is not a bad thing. It's just gonna accommodate to more people.
Real quick from a text Tuesday. Hot dogs, brats, grab-and-go sandwiches, wraps, salads, kids' peanut butter and jelly Uncrustables, meat cheese crackers, fruit charcuterie style, popcorn, nachos, candy, pretzels with cheese, juice boxes, sodas, and lemonades. That's in a text from her of what they're gonna have at the beer garden.
Well, and my point is, would they sign the contract for the amount that they signed it for? Would they accept that knowing that there's someone else selling food? So obviously that's taking a bite out of their revenues. So, if that's the case, then do we need to renegotiate the contract with them if we approve this trailer? Because obviously the revenues are gonna be slighted.
Well, if I could make one comment, and I mean no disrespect, because this is literally the second time I've been in front of you guys. The first time was for my business. I think the big thing, whether it was from Pat doing it or Beer Snobs doing it, I think that, at least from the comments I've heard from people outside of the board and then people that have asked me that said that they would like to do this, I look at it and I do get what you're saying, like we are taking a revenue stream away from them if they want it. But at the same point, like I'm kind of looking at it from the flip side. Selfishly, obviously I want it to make money. But what is best for the people of Hartland? That's really what I look at it for. And is it best for a resident of Hartland to only have a certain amount of options down there? And then also, is it best for the businesses of Hartland? You know, I'm a local small business as well, and I mean, I think supporting all the small businesses and also listening to the residents of Hartland who I've honestly probably talked to 800 or 900 people and not one person, and it's an honest truth, not one person has said that's a horrible idea. Everybody says the same thing. That would be awesome. Having variety would be awesome because then we can please everybody. So I just wanted to, and I do get what you're saying though. So I mean, like I said, it's kind of tough with her not here, but
If you went there, would you be okay if 3 other food trucks were around you?
absolutely. I personally, and I had a phone call with Jeff as well. I think that, you know, the variety is what's going to bring people. If we want to build up Hartland like a Pewaukee, Okachi, Delafield, it's not going to be because of the shopping. You know, we don't have those shops where people are going to walk downtown Hartland and go to the clothing shops and go to the, you know, we got Lorraine's Legacy and we got Mead. I'm the only thing open after 6 p.m. except for Palmer's. So for me, it's just going to benefit me if we have more trucks because that's going to bring these people from Oconomowoc to hear, hey, we got live music on a Thursday night and we got a taco truck, a food, you know, a sandwich truck, a pizza truck, and a burger truck, and we got beers and wines. It's just going to bring more revenue in for me. It's going to bring more revenue in for beer snobs. It's going to expose people to Hartland that may not come here because we don't have those shops or things like that. And I just think it's a good thing for everybody. I mean, I really do. Now, obviously, the parking is an issue, so that would have to be a logistic thing. I do have a couple spots that I think would be good for my trailer. I'm also open to working with you guys to find the best spot for it if it is approved. But like I told Jeff, I think it'd be great to have, you know, 4 food trucks down there. You're really catering to everybody then. I mean, everybody would find something that they'd like to eat. And I think you'll get more people down at the beer garden and more people partaking in the beer garden that already does, so.
Ryan, that list that you read, that message from her, that's a way different menu and a lot more than what we've had in the past. And I think that's a great menu. However, what you have on your list is sandwiches, pretzels, popcorn, chips, and soda, which is everything she has. So what else would you have that isn't the same as what she has?
Well, and that's the thing is, I mean, a lot of that is what I could do as well. I mean, so I think it's just sitting down with her and saying, hey, what are you gonna do? And I've been doing this for 29 years in the restaurant industry. I can come up with options, whether it's walkie tacos, whether it's doing 3 different types of beer brats with, you know, sauerkraut and relish, Chicago dogs. I mean, really, for me, I mean, I got pizza ovens. I can do pizzas. For me, it's sitting down with them. Like I said, I don't want to step on toes. So I think if it was approved and they are still wanting to do food as well, which again, that's news to me, I think it's just finding a menu that we can both do. And maybe looking at that, I mean, that's a big list for 3 or 4 people to do out of that small area. Maybe me and Stephanie look at it and she goes, you know what? The popcorn, the pretzels, and the nachos, maybe we don't do that. Maybe they do the salads, you know, and I think it's just a discussion that needs to happen, you know, between us. But
No, I get what you're saying, but we have a signed contract with them, and I think that the discussion needs to maintain just on what's being presented to us. And we did spend 10 months making an ordinance. We have an ordinance right now. If the board does want to kick it back and say, let's go and change that ordinance, and then let's relook at this, we can. The beer garden, in my opinion, was, or what I heard when people used to say, well, Pat always had it, was that the beer garden, it's like a big community picnic. It's not a, hey, everybody come here and don't go to any other businesses. It's a, go into the Phoenix and have a burger and have some dinner and then head on down and listen to some music. Or come on down and have a little cheese board, listen to some music, and then you leave and you go off to beer snobs, or you run over to Zesty, or you go over to Palmer's. And you come and you see the community, but it was never really set up to be all, it was never set up to just be like, hey, let's go have dinner at the beer garden and just stay at the beer garden. It's like it's a really cool community thing, and we can shift that. We can go in a different direction. I just think we're on step 27, and we haven't addressed step 1, because if we were to even vote to approve it right now, we're voting to approve something that we have an ordinance that we just approved something into illegality. And I don't think that's ever appropriate. And there's a whole process for changing that. We haven't even sent it to Park. Now, I did ask it to come to Park. I put it on the village agenda because we have an ordinance that says it's not allowed. Now, special events, yes. You go, like, in the private property, you absolutely,
I mean, to me, the beer garden is a special event. It's not a year-round thing. And I get what you're saying, and I'm not trying to be contradicting, but to me, it really is a special event. I mean, it's, what, 3 months out of 3.5, 4 months out of the year for 3 days a week or 3.5 days a week. To me, that can be considered a special event. So if we want to vote on it and not have to go back and change ordinance to where we can have food trucks down there every day, all day, I mean, I get what you're saying. We are on step 26 if we're doing it that way. I mean, but I look at the beer garden, it's a special event. I mean, I'm
not saying it's special as in it's a really wonderful thing. Which
no,
it is.
I know what you mean.
I'm talking about special event based on how the ordinance says a special event, meaning someone comes in, gets a permit and says, we're gonna have this, and then it allows for for them to have food trucks.
It's May 1st through October. So it's essentially 28 weeks that they're allowed to be open 4 days a week. So 112 days out of the year.
Okay.
Right. And it's not anything against S3. We do want Hartland to be better and better, but I can only speak for myself, you know, and we did just sign a contract where we got people to pay more money and it's gonna go up even more next year. And we're holding them to making sure that they have to give us all of their gross sales and that kind of stuff to tell us. I mean, I agree with you that beer snobs would have to know about that if we were gonna all of a sudden have a food truck there. And there's some history here because there was a very long time, and I mean, there's quite a few members of the park board here. You know, I mean, it was really, really pounded and very, very clear that we don't want them to just be able to go into the parks. I'm not against the beer garden or even having food trucks at the beer garden. I'm not against that. This process of if we decided to do it right now and saying people's names when they're not even here, I'm only saying what I heard with my own ears.
I agree.
They felt a little bit shook down, so they might, I don't know how they were answering or whatever, but all I know is that when they called, they said, do you guys not want us to have food? And I'm like, no, that's not the case. So I don't know what conversations were all happening. I really don't. I mean, I've heard so many things and there's been so many rumors coming around that they put up a post of food that they were gonna serve at Bark River Bash and that they got a contact like, hey, what are you doing? We gotta talk about this because I might be serving food down there. I don't know if that's true or not.
No,
but that's,
I literally went over to her and made the menu comment and said, hey, so I see you guys are doing food. Like, I just wanna make sure when I go in front of the board, I'm not stepping on your toes. And again, her comment was, I would prefer you do it.
You were confused that they were doing food. Where did you think that they weren't doing food?
So before I even knew Beer Snobs had gotten the contract for the beer garden, I had no idea they even had it. My ideas were to try and have a food truck down there because I knew Pat was kind of moving on. I didn't know what the thing was, but before, all we had was pretzels, we had the chicken sandwiches, we had brats, and that's not much more. I mean, you could get a pizza and they would go up to Enters and get it if you wanted, but there wasn't a lot. So I actually was thinking about this well before I even knew Beer Snobs had it. So after I found out they had it, that's when I approached and I just, Stephanie was out of town. I talked to Tim, her partner, and he goes, yeah, I mean, we've been talking about trying to bring somebody in for the food. So he's like, but let's talk to Stephanie when she got back. I've had multiple conversations and text message conversations with Stephanie saying, hey, you know, I would prefer you do the food. I would prefer just to stick with the beer and wine because of staffing. I'd be great. I could just throw 2 or 3 bartenders down there. I don't have to worry about it. And that's why I did make sure, again, I said I don't want to overstep. Can I mention what we said? And she, again, agreed. And I
Sure.
can, you know, so like I said, I think that, I mean, we might be a little bit ahead of the course as far as getting a food truck down there. But I was thinking about this well before I even knew they had the beer garden. And I just approached them because, again, I want to work with other local businesses. And I think having us all be successful is better than one, you know, I get the whole revenue stream, but having everybody get a piece of that revenue stream rather than just one person, I think is a better fit for Hartland. And it looks better for Hartland, in my opinion, so.
I think that, you know, with what Trustee Hallquist said earlier, I mean, we negotiated a contract with Tim and Stephanie and Beer Snobs at a weekly rate that was based on food sales and liquor, wine, and beer sales. we really need to respect the contract that they've committed to. And we did work pretty hard on the ordinance to get the ordinance in place. That makes this difficult right now.
I
Matt,
agree with that, and it doesn't mean that we can't look into things for the future. But I do agree with you, like on the contract price, and I don't know what exactly it comes out to, but I think it's about $190 a week more than we were getting for that space. Just in 1 week, that's more than just what is on paper. Now, the form that was filled out is just for special events. We don't have a form to go into the parks because we don't have an ordinance that allows it to legally be in the parks. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that we can't start this talk, send it to park, and if they want to start talking, if the shift is on, then we can start talking about it. I think that's the right thing, but then we start that process of that change, because it would take an ordinance change, coming up with a form or adding to it to allow it in the park, so it's nothing against. I just think that there's a proper process, but you're right. We got into contract, and I think that then we would, that's between the village and the people that we're hiring to run the beer garden, but then we would want to get together and say, are we keeping the price the same, are we changing it, that kind of thing, but.
I guess the only question I have, and this is again just for my information, is first off, if we are gonna do that, like if we needed to send it to park, I guess I would have liked to come to the park board when I was originally signed up for it, because again, obviously we're, whether it's this year or middle of this year or next year that ordinance gets put into place, I mean, getting that ball rolling would be as quickly as possible, obviously is beneficial to me, and again, to, I think, the village. And second of all, I don't know what goes into it, but why was that ordinance put into place to not have food trucks on like village property? I mean, and I'm just trying to gather, because if you look at every surrounding community, whether it's Oconomowoc and their food truck thing, even like we talked about the corners in Brookfield, which I consider to be like an uppity spot. You go Tuesday night, they have all the restaurants up there, they have all that. They bring in like 13 to 16 food trucks, and it's shoulder to shoulder in there. And I look at it, places like that, Menominee Falls, all these surrounding communities have these food trucks. And so I guess my question was just like, why was that ever put in place? I mean, and this more, maybe not even for this meeting, maybe we could talk after this.
When we did that ordinance, so the beer garden and the ordinance are two separate things. The businesses, there was some business owners that didn't want them, some didn't care.
Okay.
Some business owners didn't want them for, I'm gonna be straight with you. Let's say Cousins and Jimmy John's comes and parks right outside of S3 Deli.
Yeah.
The businesses didn't want that, just like they didn't want a burger truck going in front of Duke's or something like that.
I get it.
Because it could happen. There's foot traffic, that's where the trucks are gonna go.
I get it.
The beer garden, this is just my opinion, but when it was designed, it was something really fun to do. The village ended up getting, the first year we didn't do all the music, but now we have the music, so that's taxpayer money, but you'll notice there's a real picnic type feel to it. There's people that bring in charcuterie boards and might open their bottle of wine. Yes, those are carry-ins, but it's a place for the community to gather, and they're serving the beer, and we do have someone that's serving the beer and serving some food, but we don't want to make it, or at least back then, we didn't want to make it such a spot that someone just goes to the beer garden and just hangs out there. We have hometown celebration, which we do there, and that may be changing. Maybe we're changing how we're doing the beer garden, maybe we do need to change. But that was originally the idea, and if I'm, Tim, you're the chairman, president of the park board, you can chime in, but that originally was the idea, to make it something that was gonna be a draw to hang out and be with the community, but it wasn't gonna be such a draw that it drew people away. It was supposed to be something that actually brought people together, and that's why you'll see, one of the things I've always said is, running down to deliver food. I almost said Insta Hartland would be great. I'm gonna go buy a bike and put a thing on the back of it, and I'll just run back and forth the whole time. I'm sure I'd make a mint on the tips. But I think that that's really important, that we don't get so big that we're taking away from the other food businesses.
I get it.
And the other bars. But you wanna be big enough that realistically, it was to just provide some substance in case someone has.
there was 2
few
points.
tonight
One,
drinks.
we didn't want to have outside businesses, food trucks from Milwaukee or wherever to come in and take business away from the locals. That was number one. And then number two, Mr. Rhodey was the administrator at the time. I wanted the fee to be $250, and Rhodey knocked it down to $75, so you're lucky that I wasn't in charge of it.
And to your point, I don't see the need to have food trucks from Milwaukee coming down, taking money there, but we have a local establishment, and we did even talk about in the closed session meeting, it's nothing that's confidential, but when we talked about possibly having us contain the beer garden, not put it out for somebody, was said that, hey, we wanna make sure that we support our local businesses, so that's why we chose not to own it ourselves, but to give it to a business. But here's another opportunity to give a local business some share of the revenue. And I get it, the ordinance is in there, but then that's something I think we should really discuss is reconsidering it. But you can make exceptions that, hey, okay, we have an ordinance for a purpose, like Tim said, not to bring people out there, but this isn't somebody from the outside coming in, this is somebody from the inside, staying inside. So it's supporting local businesses within our community.
Matt, give me a scenario, what, like, you're gonna be in industrial park during the day, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna bring the trailer over here at Nixon on Thursdays, Fridays,
Absolutely.
and Saturdays?
And I would pull it off every night because it is a mobile kitchen. So the way that those food trailers work is, if you don't have like a ventilation system and a hood system to do burgers and all that kind of stuff, it's considered a secondary location on top of your brick and mortar. And so I would bring it back to the shop, bring all utensils in, I would wash them right at my main shop, do a restock. So I would actually pull it off every night, and I would move it every time I needed to. So Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, I would pull it off, and then I would just bring it back down the next day. I mean,
Did you take it back over to the industrial park then during the day?
oh, absolutely, during the weekdays, yeah, Monday through Friday, I would take it back to the industrial park for the lunch hours.
Okay.
My goal after talking to a lot of the industrial park was to be there from like 7 until 9 for some breakfast sandwiches and burritos. And then from like 11 until 1 for lunches. And then I would pull it back on the Thursday and Friday. I would pull it back, restock right at my shop, and then pull it down to the beer garden.
And then is your power self-sufficient?
So I have a very, very low power generator that runs off propane. I don't need any plugins. I don't need any electrical. And it's not a big trailer. I mean, I think we're at like 12 and a half feet, and I would drop it, take my car back up to my shop and walk down to run it. So that way I'm not taking up any parking spots with my cars. And the nice thing is if I do run low on anything, I'm a block and a half, 2 blocks away from my shop. I can always have people bring stuff down. So yeah, my goal would be to move it off every night. So.
Goes through Waukesha County inspection.
It does. It's actually, I've already got the inspection done. She was actually at my shop about 4 weeks ago doing my my yearly inspection for S3 Deli. And I showed her what I had, and she actually already approved it. She gave me one thing that needed to be changed, and she's like, well, I'll just check on that next year because it's nothing major. I've got my 3 compartment sinks. I've got everything I need. The only thing I need is an industrial refrigerator instead of the refrigerator that's in there. Other than that, she said I was good to go. Again, I have to pay the $50 fee to have that secondary one, but I wasn't going to pay for it until I found out if I could get it deployed anyway. So. Sure. But it's already ready. The only thing they're waiting for is the $50 fee so I can get it deployed out. Sure.
So I guess my 2 concerns or my 2 things I just want to bring up. One, we already talked about, or I already brought up about the ordinance. I think that's a big one to me. I wouldn't feel right voting in something that we have our own ordinance against. I'm definitely open to discussion on the ordinance because I love it. I think it'd be great to have, I got 4 kids. We're down there all the time. I hear everything you're saying, but I think we need to do it right. The other thing that I'd want to make sure we address is the contract that we have in place that we just signed, holding them to more money than we had in the past with the previous vendor. Want to make sure they understand and that we're all on the same page with the offering. So that's kind of where I'm at.
And this would have to come up with some kind of monthly fee if it's ever, or weekly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right,
yeah.
it'd be the same type of contract we currently have with just a second one. And I think it would generate more revenue for the village. I mean, it would, I don't know that it would necessarily, it would cut a little bit into somebody else's, but I think when you put the whole ball of wax together, from a village perspective, we'd get more money out of 2 than out of 1.
I was kind of hoping somebody was going to put together a special event to have like a Thursday at the park or food truck night.
I can do it.
I think that would be a fun special event that we could all vote on within the ordinance. But
I mean, I look at like Ryan, who used to have the Just Smoking Barbecue over at Gristmill. I know him. He's a great guy. I guarantee you, if I called him, he'd come down for stuff like that. So, I mean, I think Thursday night food truck in the park I think it's a phenomenal idea. Like you asked me, Jeff, on the phone, if we didn't pick you, would you still think it's a phenomenal idea? And even if I'm not the one that gets picked down there, I'd still come down every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'd still go to work every Monday morning, and I'd still frequent the beer garden. I would just hope that being a local business, I would be one up for consideration. But I think it's a great idea, so it's.
When you do come
And I
up
don't,
with
with the, just want to add, like with the comment, I mean, I don't want anybody to be like, why did you say something at the meeting? Like, I wouldn't necessarily be, I think we need to look at a fee and stuff like that. I wouldn't be up for a contract. I mean, the beer garden's operating out of the village facilities, like for a truck. I don't think that, I wouldn't sign a whole contract. I think it's good to have it, you could propose it. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be for that, be like, yep, they're the only ones
There
allowed
should
all
be a
summer.
fee chart. But
Right,
I just wanted
right.
to say, so I love everything that you've been saying, that you've came here and talked about the business. We're in support of that. I'm a big supportive of all local businesses. I try to eat everywhere, Beer Snobs, your Deli, Palmer's, the Inn, everywhere. Obviously, we have the ordinance. I am supporting local businesses, supporting Hartland. The only uncomfortable thing for me, and it's not you, it's just I feel like there's been so much talk, text, emails, but it would have been nice to have somebody here, not to say that you're lying or they're lying, but to have two people here saying, this is what I'm saying, this is what I'm saying, yep, I agree. So there's no confusion.
Well, originally when I got the email, they were on the agenda for today, and that's why I talked to her on Saturday and said, hey, can we talk about this at the meeting? And that's what she said, well, they switched me to a different day. So I was really hoping she could have been here. I texted her this morning and she just said, unfortunately, she had already made plans for tonight. So I do get what you're saying. I mean, I've even heard rumors that we were partnering up with them, and I'm like, that's not what was, I mean, there's just too much game of telephone going on, but, I mean, I'm open to any conversations that need to be had, so.
I just want to say real quick, so when you come in tomorrow and get the permit, that $150 that you pay, every special event that does come to the village, if they have a food truck, you're in that,
Okay.
you're paid for.
Perfect.
There's no additional fees every time if they allow you to be at their event.
That's for like the 4th of July, the
Kids Day.
Kids Day and all that stuff?
Bark River Bash, any of those.
Okay.
Not the 4th of July.
Not the hometown.
Not
Hometown's
hometown.
Yeah,
just
not the
us.
hometown, but, all right.
But you still would want to let the village know each time?
Yep.
So they're aware.
Well, the special event app would have to have them.
Yeah, I just want to be clear for it. The special event app would list you as a food truck.
And
but
Ryan,
you
that's the
wouldn't have to
same.
pay another fee.
Ryan, that's the same app that you had me put in for this, but we didn't really have an application for this.
No,
so.
like, let's say the special, I'm just gonna make this.
No,
up.
I'm
Let's
just
say
saying the
Jeff's
same
having a
form.
party at Nixon Park and I'm having your food truck. When I come in and I'm like, hey,
I'm just saying it's the same form, because I filled out a form for
the
this,
food-
but it
the
really
park-
wasn't for this.
yeah, but whoever's having the special event would list in their operation, we're having food trucks and we're gonna have S3
Oh,
Deli.
okay.
But, and you're already paid, where typically in the past, we had to go and say, hey, you gotta have them paid, but
Sounds good.
you're already paid. Anybody else have anything?
Send it.
I would, well, two things. I think we'll end up needing to talk about this ordinance at a village board level, in my opinion, if we're gonna change it, but that's tough to do without Park. I mean, can't force Park to do anything, but I strongly encourage that it goes back to
I think we take
Park
it
to
back.
be talked about, on if the Park board is gonna be telling the village board that they think that the ordinance should change now. That doesn't guarantee it's gonna change, but if Park board is saying that they think it should change, then I think it should go to Park.
Real quick, Sandy, the timeline on changing an ordinance is 3 meetings? Readings, right? 3 readings?
It is.
So this would go to Park Board potentially May 5th, Village Board May 12th, Village Board May 26th, and then Village Board in middle of June. That would be the process for approval, if you guys wanted to change it.
That'd be the fastest possible way. So I think we should split this into, well, we don't need to do anything on the industrial park because that already exists.
Yeah, just come and get the permit, be a part.
Well, actually, they're just coming in, well, if someone wants to make a motion, they can make a motion.
For the park, or for the industrial park?
Industrial isn't a motion.
Yeah, industrial, they're just.
Industrial already exists, all he's gotta do is come in and meet with staff, and he'll be able to get his permit. So there's not a motion needed there, cause it exists. I think that, I mean, I can only speak as I think that this should go to park board, so we can make a motion to send it to park board.
Yeah, I'll make a motion then to send S3 Deli's request to partake in Nixon Park, send back to the park.
Second.
Rec.
It's been moved and seconded to send the, it's been moved and seconded to send S3 Deli to Nixon Park, or at the Nixon Park to the park board. I do want to ask for clarification though. Are you, because this is where we get murky and I just want to make sure I know. Are you talking about only sending specifically, one and only just S3 Deli, or are we sending it to park board to talk about food trucks, mobile food vendors?
Mobile food vendors.
Okay, I
then
just
we can
wanted
decide there.
clarification
Yep,
because,
yep.
okay.
In the park.
Well,
Is that what your intention? In the
I
parks
think-
or just Nixon?
I think they need to be in there too, otherwise it's gonna push, if we just have, looking at the policy, and they're not involved, that's gonna take a couple of weeks.
Right.
Right, so
Right.
we need to do both,
Yep. So it would be the parks,
and the policy.
S3 Deli, and mobile food vendors?
Yeah.
All of it. Okay, I think that's clear, and
Yep.
the second was for that. Are we all clear? So it's to talk about S3 Deli, parks changing food truck policy possibly, and the parks, not just Nixon Park, and other mobile food vendors in the parks. Any discussion?
I do have one question.
Yep.
Let's say he wants to, put his, food vendor trailer, whatever you call it. Let's say he just wants to put it at Centennial, like now.
We have to make the change.
That needs to
Otherwise,
go
it's
through,
outside of the
that needs to go
ordinance.
through the park board.
Yep.
Okay.
I actually was gonna suggest trying this out, and
Well,
wonderful things he's saying, but because, I'm just throwing in, and I know you have the floor, but in saying it's really gonna draw people, if all of a sudden it's up there, and that's something you can immediately start making money on, without even running into any problems with other contracts we have, there's events that are going on up there, but now he would be able to go and park up there.
that's what I was gonna say, is he would have at least an opportunity to see how his trailer was doing at a park, Centennial, cause it's busy every night, right, with baseball or whatever's over there.
Yes,
Lacrosse,
right.
so, I mean, that would be an opportunity, but,
Yep.
okay, I'm good.
Yep. That would be the ordinance thing, though. We
Yeah.
would have to do something with that. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you, Matt.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay. Now we have Little DippeRz, all parks, all year, is what it says here on the agenda.
Yes, I got a different version of the application than last year, so. My name is Tanya Little, I own Little DippeRz here in Hartland at 131 East Capitol Drive. And I'm here to request reapproval of my little ice cream cart to get into the parks for the summer, or for the year.
So on your application, you have arrival time 11, departure time 9, and then you have in parentheses Saturday and Sunday. So are you only just doing it on the weekends, or?
So staffing is an issue for me, and the ice cream sales, it's the after, I noticed the trends are after dinner, so 5:30 to 8:30 in the summertime.
Do we care as a board as far as she can pick any park she wants and goes to it, or do we want to schedule?
I think, again, it goes back to being consistent for the citizens. So you're saying 5:30 to 8:30 on Saturday and Sunday, or?
So last year you gave me all parks, whatever time. So I had,
I think though, what we've heard from citizens, and we're trying to make sure everything's consistent and the same, right? Right, yeah. So, if, I think that, I know it's hard getting people to say you're gonna be there at work, but, I think what I would like to know is exactly what hours are you talking and what parks are you?
so the target would be Thursday nights, 5:30 to 8:30.
Oh, at Nixon.
Yeah, Nixon. And then
What-
whatever special events are going out in the other parks, so I live, by Arrowhead, and there's the baseball down at, I don't even know what the name of that park is on Hartbrook and North, so the baseball team's down there, that park, Centennial with all what they've got going on. So I'd like to have that mobility, because these sales help me get through the winter.
Point of clarification on this current policy. It says only 2 MFFs, and I could think of what the first MF would stand for. But anyway, it would be allowed, huh?
Food facility.
No, that's not exactly what I thought it was gonna be. But it says will be allowed in a park at one time, only two. So if Little DippeRz is one, is Beer Snobs considered two? Because obviously it's not mobile. Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Are you done with your question?
Yeah.
I guess my question is, I'm holding two Village of Hartland Park food vendor applications. One, we just said violates our policy. Why, I would think that this would violate our policy as well. I mean, a mobile food vendor is a vehicle with wheels that transports food. Doesn't specify the size, weight, or anything like that, so if we, from a consistency and not being hypocritical, if we turn one down, it goes back to the park, I would think this one would have to go to the park as well,
For the cart.
for the cart, yep.
If you feel that way, we can.
Well, I'm just saying that,
Might be consistent.
I see nothing different on these two applications.
Yeah, you can,
Rick, that's.
And there's nothing against that, I want that, I think it's great, but from the board standpoint, if we're holding a certain standard, we have to keep it consistent.
I was feeling the same way. Got done reviewing everything we just discussed with regards to S3 Deli. and it
I did bring that up
applies.
last year, and they talked about the cart being the cart. You have a 2-foot by 2-foot cart with a little umbrella that's like 18 inches, and someone walking around with a cart. And then you have other much larger things, but technically, yeah, I mean, I brought that up last year when we ran into this. I'm like, are we gonna run into a problem with it? Because you have a cart that weighs 60 pounds that someone just pushes along, and then you have something that has to be hauled by a motorized vehicle.
And I want them both, to be honest with you, but I think we just gotta be consistent.
Matt, you could push yours down there, couldn't you?
Listen, I'll pull it down there if you give me approval.
Get a Clydesdale,
I got a bunch of kids that will do it for me, so.
yeah, just get a Clydesdale.
Well, the other argument is that we allowed it last year with the policy the way it is.
Can make corrections.
So there is some precedent there. That's all I'm saying. I mean, it could go either way. I'm just saying that.
Big thing you guys talked about too was ice cream trucks at drive-through, that was brought up, that,
Yes.
but that, I'm not here nor there.
Well, I know when I'm there, I always try and tell them to leave, but, because they don't have a permit or anything. Get free ice cream.
Ice cream truck.
Yeah, I hear what Rick's saying, though. I hear what he's saying. I mean, I was just clarifying that I did bring it up last year, but I was told, no, it's different. I think some people from the bid were here, but they said, no, it's different because it's a little cart that's being pushed. And I do agree with, I mean, comparing that to a 5,000-pound trailer is a big difference, but I do understand Rick's point as well.
Parked, taking a parking lot, real estate versus a cart being pushed to the cart park.
Yep.
I do think they're different, but I also agree, it's the same in a lot of ways. So I like that this whole conversation is going back to park board so we can clarify some things. I don't
Yeah.
know what to do about this.
Maybe get some clarification.
When were you planning on, are you doing Bark River Bash, or are you doing
I've been
the,
invited, but now I need, if I understand correctly, I will need approval to be there, correct?
well, not, yeah, we
Not
haven't,
necessarily, it's a special event, she can get it
Okay.
on.
yeah.
Right, so yeah, I do plan to be there.
So that application has been approved already, I'd have to see if they requested, this one? The Bark River Bash, I'd have to take a look and see if they requested, when they submitted the application,
Oh,
did they
Bark-
say they were gonna have food trucks?
Park River Bash did this last year as well, we talked about it at the bid meeting, they put on there that they're gonna may have food vendors. So last year we okayed it, same thing with this year, and, they have been scolded in the future so like the chamber says, we're gonna have up to 5 food vendors, and then they just come get those permits through us, it doesn't
Right.
matter who the food vendor is. So, same thing, she can be one of their food vendors, she just has to come in and get the paperwork. Obviously, so that timeline I gave you, I think if everyone suspended the rules at the second meeting, May
I was gonna say.
May 26th would be, we don't have a meeting, so we may have to have a special meeting. But you could get everyone in there essentially to start the summer, or whatever it is that you guys decide. So,
And there would be a fee for the Bark River Bash, though, since you don't already have, correct?
the 150 and hope it gets approved. Or the 75 one time.
Coming out of winter right now.
The 150, is that just per park, or,
No,
I know it's for the year, but is it for
That's
anywhere?
annual, yeah.
For anywhere,
Yeah.
okay.
You could be in 10 special events.
But
Is
that's
that
something
uniform?
Park's gonna have to talk about, is a contract, what it's gonna be, because this isn't a special event, so you're gonna have to come up with a fee schedule.
Can I speak by chance?
This issue? Do you want him to speak on this issue? Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
Hey guys, Craig Eisnute, 201 North Avenue.
Can you say it in the microphone?
Sorry,
please?
Craig Eisnute, 201 North Avenue. I serve on the park board as well. We did discuss food trucks and vendors. There is an application for it at the park. I did send you the discussion earlier today. Conveniently, inconveniently, the recording doesn't exist of the event, but it was discussed and passed that food trucks can be down at the park. Also, when we're talking about following ordinances, you're talking about the ordinances of people bringing stuff in. As far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure there's an ordinance against carry-ins. So we're promoting against an ordinance, and I don't understand why it's coming back to the park board when it's already been discussed and passed.
Because what was passed is a policy that goes against our ordinance. So though the park board created that policy, it was against our ordinance.
Well,
So that would be,
we did have it last year, to be consistent. We also had another food trailer, the donut truck. So, I mean, there were things going on, and I think, that policy absolutely
and
should
that's
be
what I think
revisited.
they're trying to say this year, is they gotta clean it out and make it right.
Is there a temporary variance that could be offered to allow people to have these options right away instead of waiting months?
No, right now, though, we're on Little DippeRz, so.
Right, I'm
Okay.
speaking on her behalf. I'm not speaking on anybody else's. I'm just trying to be consistent here and hearing the things I'm hearing. I
So
know
per
that
the-
we already
per the-
discussed these things. I know it's already been pushed through and approved.
Per the current policy, park food truck policy, it says only 2 MFFs will be allowed in the park. So yes, we do allow food trucks, but only 2.
Okay.
Okay, unless it's a special event, and then however many we want, I guess, for that, but, so,
That is all.
The other thing it says in here is mobile food facilities include, but are not limited to trucks, trailers, carts, bicycles. I mean, it's listed right here, so there is no difference, according to this.
In the policy, it also states $75 per application. So am I taking that as $75 every time they're in the park? Okay.
I mean,
it was 150 annually for
Special events.
Well, no, for the, for like your private property food truck, that was 150.
yeah.
So as far as the park goes, it was 75 a time, I believe, and I think we just rolled it over to 150.
So where I'm getting, I mean, it's fine however it is, but so it came from park that it changed last year to allow 2 mobile food vendors in the parks at any given time? Why didn't we change the ordinance? I mean, I wasn't aware of it. Did it come up to, I know we changed the form, we voted on the form.
The form was for food vendors in the park, and it was discussed for the park. It wasn't discussed for private property. This was park business discussed at the park, not,
The village is the one who makes all ordinance, all laws. The park does not have authority to set
just
that.
reflecting what we're discussing, throwing back to the park. We already did it. It's already approved.
Park board can say that we're gonna fly airplanes out of Nixon Park, doesn't make it legal.
Did it come onto the village board to change the ordinance is what I'm asking? Do we know?
I don't think so.
I don't know why I'm fighting so hard to stop local businesses from being a part of.
You gotta follow the
what
law.
business they're
I'm
doing.
not fighting
We
anybody
gotta
from
follow the
doing
law.
anything.
We're
Sounds
in
like it.
favor, we wanna fix it.
Really
If
sounds
the
like it.
bid says they're going to do something, they're gonna make all the parking in downtown 15 minutes, because that's what's gonna be better for them, that doesn't mean it's the law.
Right.
They can't just start changing the signs, or
Well,
even,
you guys have that ability, and I mean, then let's change it. Let's make this work, guys.
And that's what
Come
we are
on,
doing,
everybody wants it.
that's what we're doing, Craig.
Takes 3 meetings to change.
Yeah, there's a process, and we made the decision to move it down that road.
Well, I understand it was going through yesterday, or last year. It was approved, she was approved, there was a donut truck that was approved. You know, and we got something already in place, so it's up to you guys, I suppose.
that's what we're working on right now.
This, and again, so this, and I have a,
I wanna make something very clear, and it's important for everybody on this board to know it. There's 2 boards in this village, outside of the village board, that are mandated by state law. PFC, PFC and Plan Commission. There's another one that you could include, but they fall under the jurisdiction of Department of Public Instruction, and that's the library board, which we stay away from except for when it comes to budgeting. Whether it's bid, whether it's park, ecos, Ice Age Trail, all of them. I don't care how loud they scream it, I don't care how many times they write it, until the village board votes on it and makes it worth something. It's an opinion that's sent from a committee. I'm only saying that because I want to not ever have this happen again, where someone thinks if it goes through a committee, bid or otherwise, that makes it a law. I do agree with what Craig is saying when he says we did approve the donuts. Last year it came up and they're like, well, it's just for donations, let's just do it and not say no. I did bring it up last year, and I wanted to see a differentiation put in there. If someone's pushing a cart that weighs 60 pounds versus someone hauling in a kitchen, and I do think I was right on that, but I'm not saying all this to say, oh, I'm right. But this is the reason right now why I wanted to see a difference, because you're talking difference about somebody selling food, a lot of it, and someone selling a grand total of, don't take this in a mean way, $1,700 worth of ice cream on the year. He's pushing a 60-pound cart at most, maybe 70.
Depends on
But I'm just being realistic. So this is what happens when we bend the rules, and I'm gonna say it right now, what we have here is a damn mess. And we need to clean it up, starting at park board, and then we get it back to the village, because it's turned into a mess. And this is what happens when we cut corners. And that falls on me, because I should have stood up last year and said absolutely not, but I didn't. So, now, on some of the comments that were made, I'm just gonna throw in, and I know that you don't like this, but we have a contract with Beer Snob, so that to me is a totally different thing. But getting these things right is correct. And if Hartland wants food trucks at the park, because it's gonna make it better, and it's making it better for the citizens, then that's what it should be. But we're not gonna say it, even if it is better, I mean, the wheels of justice and the wheels of law turn slowly, but they do turn. Sorry for anybody that interrupted. I just want to make it very clear, because I don't want to go back to us being messy like when I first took over and we were trying to clarify and clean stuff up. And Tanya, I'm very sorry. We have a mess on our hands and we're going to get it cleaned up.
I have a question, and this was discussed, I believe. My memory, not always right, but I thought Beer Snob said they were going to be selling ice cream. Sandwiches, and that, just like Pat had some in that cooler?
They did, but they said that they don't care that the cart was there. I mean, they said that
Okay.
in the meeting.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're not, I'm trying to keep it all on the same page. Okay. Because it wouldn't be worth your time to show up
Well,
if somebody
yeah,
else
could you
is
read
selling.
that list back that you got of the menu, because I don't remember hearing ice cream on that.
She didn't, but I know when she had the meeting with them, she talked.
Say she was going to have.
It was more so just, for the times that the cart wasn't there.
Yeah.
Oh, should I call the question? Sorry. Are we there?
We didn't do
Did we get, I thought we did have a motion in a second.
it. No, they said.
No,
we
no,
have to
not,
follow
not
the
for this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, see. Oh, yeah. I mean, they don't have to, I'm not forcing.
I guess,
So just for clarity, last summer, were you down there every weekend? What?
Every weekend I could be, that it didn't rain. And it was Thursdays primarily because of staffing. So this year looks a lot different.
food policy. So in the packet, it shows Parks food truck policy. So is it not in the ordinance? Cause what is, it's adopted in ATCP, what, I don't know what that means, but 75-112.
It's not, I don't know what the ATC is. All that was is a policy, and again, it's a policy that goes against an ordinance, so. Yep.
That's a clean up, too. No doubt about it.
The other motion covered, we referred the other application to Park Board, so that they really use the-
That's what I thought also.
So, sending to Park Board to go over food vendors. We did mention S3 Deli on that one, but it's all mobile food vendors. Should we send this to Park also?
That falls under the same.
It falls under the same thing. We could make a motion to send it, but we're sending it already, so it'd fall under the same thing. So we could,
We don't need a motion then.
I mean, we could make a motion of clarity to include Little Dippers in that.
I guess if we want to. Well, no, I was gonna say if we want to expedite it, I'd just amend my original motion to include Little Dippers in there.
Oh, okay.
That would make it easy, I
Shantae,
think.
I believe you seconded it? Okay. So, we'll take a vote on allowing the amendment. All in favor of allowing the,
Taking both together under the same motion of moving it.
So
we're
going
just
to
adding Little
Parks.
Dippers to the list.
Okay, okay.
Right.
Jeff, can I ask one more question before you do this? I know that we have the rule that goes against the ordinance, it's amendment goes against the ordinance. Is there, because obviously it says 2 mobile food vendors in the rule, and obviously the ordinance is going back to the park board, is there any possibility of having a temporary, because it does say it in one section and not the other, I get it, it's not the law yet, cause the ordinance needs to be changed. Is there a way, she obviously, I mean, she's a small business, I don't wanna see her lose her ice cream thing that she plans on, especially in the busy times, because, you know, it's ice cream. But is there a way to have a temporary, while this is going through, because obviously it takes 3 meetings, it's gonna be middle of June before that goes through. Because there is some misclarity there, but we do have the one that says 2 mobile food vendors. Is there a way to get a temporary, you know, permit to say, hey, you know, we're figuring this out, there is some unclarity there, and maybe in June it doesn't go through and we gotta pull out and we can't do it anymore. But while we're figuring that out, is that a possibility? And I'm talking, I guess, on behalf of me, but also for Tanya as well.
But right,
Well,
right now though, it's Tanya Little's item right now.
Well, Tanya's not, if she goes to special, talks to whoever's doing the Bark River Bash, if she talks to them and be one of the vendors, then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if we suspend the last ruling, it could be effective before Memorial Day, which is when the beer garden opens, right? So she's technically not gonna miss any time. Okay,
Yeah, if the stars align and everything goes smoothly through the process,
yeah, and then S3 would,
The hard part about any of this is what beer snobs.
I just wanted to say that out
Yeah.
of respect for them because, and I don't wanna give the false impression that just cause the ordinance changed it, I'm gonna say, okay, we got them under contract, we're making the change. I think that that's gonna have to be some talk and that's just my opinion, but
Well, I
that's
mean-
regardless, but we got 2 items going on here right now.
but she
and
asked
poor Tanya is-
she asked for any park, anytime. So she could do any park, and if we decide not to do Thursday's beer snobs or whatever, then she could go to another park. So that, I mean, I'm just trying to fulfill her.
Yep, I get what you're saying.
Okay. Yep.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? So Little Dippers will be added into that. We'll keep you posted. But you're already at Bark, you talked a bit on that, I think.
Okay.
So we'll see if they can get amended.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya.
That would actually go the same for S3. Just letting you both know. If you talk to the bid and have them amend and turn it in, then you're there for the Park River Bash. I'm gonna run to the room.
I laugh because beer snobs is doing food now.
Oh, that's right, my fault, I misspoke, I'm sorry about that, I misspoke. I'm going to, well, it's okay, whatever, I don't know. I gotta take a recess though, because I gotta go out to the room.
Think on that.
Yeah.
We're back in session. I appreciate the recess. We now have items that were referred from the Park Board from their April 7th meeting. Discussion and consideration of special events applications. We have a KM Explore Charter School on May 6th, 2025. The floor is yours. If you could just introduce yourself, and the floor is yours.
I'm Becky Kavanaugh. I'm the music teacher for KM Explore. We are housed at Wales Elementary, and we would like to do a Pirates concert with my kindergartners through 5th graders at Nixon Park on the stage, and it would be our concert for the school year. And we'll have a field trip with that during the day, and the kids will get to come and have a rehearsal. And then in the evening, we'd have a performance for our parents and whoever decides to come out and see our pirate concert, which is Pirates the Musical, which is a kids' musical. Yeah. And there's about 100 kids.
Big thing with this too is, you heard all the talk today about a beer garden. It's a shared space with that. Just make sure none of the kids get to the beer in the back.
Yep, yep.
I
got that.
They don't know.
I know, yep, we got that, yep.
They might perform very well, though. We discussed it at the park board, and we're very grateful that they're using our stage. And the only thing that we told them is, because I think you're gonna have do practice like in the morning, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna have so your stage was gonna be open all day. So we just asked that maybe somebody stick around just to make sure nothing walks away or anything like that. Well, their
Yeah.
costumes or whatever.
Yeah.
You're gonna be leaving stuff there during the day?
The risers. All my other stuff would be taken with me. And the risers are for the 3 tiers risers. Like, so the kids can stand in.
Okay.
Can I say?
Turn, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours doesn't.
It does.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, whoa, okay, we'll stand back.
Hello.
So you can tell she's married.
So we discussed this, and during the day, if Becky comes with the kids, we can come and unlock. While you're there for the day, we'll go back, lock it up, come back for the
Perfect.
performance later on, lock it up when they're done.
Perfect.
And we discussed not having any vehicles, bringing in the risers. Becky knows that they will bring it in from the road. So I think that was
Okay.
all.
That's wonderful. I would like to make a motion to approve the KM Explore Charter School event for May 6th.
Second?
Been moved and seconded to approve KM Explore Charter School on May 6th, 2025. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Becky.
Thanks for your patience.
Now on the agenda, we have National Night Out. Heather?
I know,
If I can take just a quick moment to introduce our new rec director to the board. This is Sam Blanian. She's been with us for almost 3 weeks. So just wanted to take a moment to introduce her. We're very happy to have her.
Thank you.
Everything is going great. We're moving right along.
Welcome.
And
We're sorry that Heather didn't get your name tag. We'll get that right going.
Thank
Sandy,
you.
if you could order a name tag. I'm kidding.
Emailed myself. I already emailed myself to do that.
One for Heather wouldn't hurt either.
Yep.
Yeah. It's upstairs. And so, yeah, we have National Night Out on the agenda. So basically just looking very similar to last year. We have, with the exception of police, put in a request for a Black Hawk helicopter landing. So you have all that paperwork, so that's all in the works for that. Otherwise, everything's looking very similar to last year. We have some vendor applications coming in and for booths and things like that, like it was last year.
What are you bringing in for food trucks?
Actually, we do have, where's my list?
Yeah.
So Chick-fil-A has requested, and Kona Ice and Donation. Those are the 3 food trucks that we have so far. Yeah, we could check with them too.
I'll make a motion to approve National Night Out, August 7th, 2025.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve National Night Out on August 7th, 2025. Discussion, I'm bringing this up only because we just went through this. Do we want to give them just carte blanche whatever food trucks that they wanna have? Do we wanna hit on a number? You guys will take care of making sure that they pay the fee? Do we wanna just state that it'll be with food trucks?
It's the village.
The food truck still has to pay the fee.
Yeah. Making sure you weren't charging us.
No, food truck still has to pay the fee. The village,
Yes.
whoever's running it can pay it for them, but that's whoever's running it. I mean, it's just the way it goes, you know? I'm sorry for saying.
No,
it,
you're right.
but
It's a cool event. It's
Just trying to hold it to the crazy rule.
to meet
We'll
and
get it
greet
all.
everybody in the village.
I was just asking kind of since it is the
that's-
village putting it on that, are we gonna
Yeah,
just
I
allow
agree.
Heather can just have, if she wants 6, she has 6, if she wants, but as long as they gotta be properly permitted in Hartland. Would you guys agree with that to an
Yes.
extent? The only thing, I
Everybody
can
should
either
pay
do an
it.
amendment or just ask that
They
that be
should all be
included
paying.
in the motion, but only if the people that made the motion.
They should still all
Agree
be
to that.
paying because we still have, our
Clean up
DPW
and-
has to do work in
I
there,
agree,
so
that's why.
everybody should be paying the fee.
Yep,
Okay,
but I'm just clarifying that the people that made the motion and the second are agreeing, and that that's what we're voting on.
I'll amend it to
That would
what
include the
you said.
Okay. Okay. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Come on out for National Night Out, August 7th, my son Jacob's birthday. Now, discussion and consideration regarding placement of the bid sculpture in Nixon Park.
All right, so we do have Steve from the bid here, but I think I can speak on
Should
behalf.
come up
We've
and
had.
introduce
come up.
himself to the
Yeah.
board.
Okay.
Our new bid president, he can come and introduce himself and give us the lowdown of what's going on.
Christmas himself.
He was hiding in the back.
I
as we went
was,
through all
I
these
was trying to
talks.
avoid this, but, no, Steve Ostrendorf, new bid president. I've been at US Bank in downtown for 15 years now, manager for 10, and been a part of the bid on the board for about 5 years now, so.
You want to tell us a little bit about the sculpture?
Sure, so if you guys remember, about 14 months ago, we had some Arrowhead students from the manufacturing department come in. They designed and created a sculpture. We've since completed that. It's been housed at Arrowhead. It's been currently housed at the library. We went through about 8 different locations we were looking to place a sculpture. Line of sight, definitely an issue downtown. So we kind of came to an agreement that we thought right by the beer garden would be the best exposure. And the whole point of it is to have something for people to take pictures with, just something to draw people downtown. Oconomowoc has the 5 O's at the roundabout. We wanted to have a little piece of something for ourselves, but also kind of the start of a partnership to do a little bit more artsy things with Hartland, including, we're talking about possible Ice Age trail sculptures, things like that throughout the village, which obviously we'll discuss in the future, but this is a 5-year partnership we've signed with Arrowhead High School, trying to give some experience to the kids, but also showing off their hard work and design as well, so.
Steve, do you know, or maybe Tom knows, how long is the cement pad?
So we're gonna build it to fit this structure, so,
So 15.6 is what the structure is?
yeah, so that's in a straight line, but it's actually gonna be kind of arched, kind of the way that it's positioned right now at the library. So I have Corey working on this as far as the placement and everything like that, but it's gonna fit for sure. And like kind of right now, we have that rectangle. We're gonna bring it out to the edge of the path, so it's one existing slab off of the path, just so we're not trying to have to mow in that area or anything like that. We don't want to string trim or anything like that, or have summer help or anyone else try to get a mower way too close to the thing than we really need to, because I really wouldn't want to hit this thing. So that's our intention with the pad right there, and then we'll just be counting that down and anchoring it to that concrete slab then.
And the closest, we're not gonna light it, right? The closest lights is the street light and
Yep,
the
so there's,
alley?
in the location we're putting it, there is a, street light above it. There's also the glow of the beer garden lights, and there's also the glow of the 2 ballards that are gonna be on both sides of it. Initially, this was supposed to have lights on it. We looked into pricing on lighting. really nice lights were $10,000. The cheap lights were $5,000. And, that's just because of the supply of power that we have there. Between the ballards, we have 120, which we can pull directly off the ballards, and that would be the nicer lights. If we went with, the cheaper lights, we'd be pulling from the warming shed and going under our brand new path that we've had some issues with, that we discussed during the Wolf contract. So, and then at that point too, we'd also be forming these, lights into concrete too. So if they ever would go out, you know, even though there's a 5-year warranty on those lights, we'd be breaking out the concrete to put new lights in again. So, if we posted any other type of light in the grass or in the area, they're gonna get kicked, they're gonna get damaged, they're gonna break consistently. We'll be just changing lights consistently. So with the amount of light that we have there, we actually went there and took a picture at night of what's existing there for a light. It wouldn't do justice to spend that kind of money on lights. So we've kind of decided with bid and staff to not go with the lights based off of that.
For reference, this is how bright it was when we took the picture.
Wow.
Yeah, there's also the fountain too in the background. I mean, that, we've really lived that park recently here, so.
Tom, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm out in this park almost every day. Is the ground where this red triangle or rectangle is that solid enough?
It's going to be.
Well, because sometimes that water, it goes down and you get muck, then it comes up and gets higher.
So,
I just wanna make sure.
in that area of the pond, that's kind of a higher bank, that's probably the highest bank towards that side of the pond. And then we're also gonna be pulling that material out from underneath that, putting a good base down obviously before, but I do know what you're saying, but that is a higher side of the pond. That's actually an area that, some years past, we did that erosion control along the river and stuff like that, and actually built that side up with our DNR permit.
And we don't need DNR permission to get that close to the water?
No, we do not.
Okay, are you gonna have to cut the lawn behind it?
Yep, yeah, which we currently are. I mean, I mean, if you look a little further, to the south, this is gonna be consistently kind of with the size of a park bench.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like mowing around those. This is gonna be a little bit bigger, but we will be able to get our equipment around it.
Yeah, I just want you all to be aware, the original motion many, many moons ago, the bid paid for the sculpture, the village work, and the concrete was our contribution.
Stay safe.
So, we'll be doing the concrete for this, and then, that's it.
This will be anchored to the pad?
Yep.
Bolted, yeah.
I liked the sculpture when it was first brought to us, and finding the location seemed very difficult, and I didn't like either or any of the spots we looked at downtown. So I thought they'd pose risk for people trying to take pictures and everything else by it. I love that it's gonna be at Nixon and part of everything that we've been doing there. I think it's a great location. Yeah, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve the placement of the bid sculpture at Nixon Park as presented.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the bid sculpture and the location it's going in and the pad that it's gonna be sitting on and all the good stuff. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Do want to clarify, I don't, the lights weren't part of the motion. I don't know if that would really make a difference. I think that's
They're
more
not.
DPW's call, but anyways, it was.
It was Bid's call too, he thought that was crazy.
Yeah,
Did you? Okay.
It was insane.
Okay.
And I do want to say thank you to Tom and Ryan and staff for all the help going through this, various spots and everything. You guys have been fantastic.
Yeah.
So look forward to working with you guys more in the future.
Appreciate that. Don't
Likewise.
be a stranger. Feel free to come and give us updates if you, every couple of months if you'd love to. That'd be great.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. And on that, Steve, too, you can call Ryan, you know, a few weeks ahead of time and he'll put you right on the agenda that you're just coming to fill us in, but that'd be awesome. Sure. All right, now we have conceptual review and consideration of 7 single-family development at Badger Court and Eagle Pass Court. Are they in attendance?
No, they're not, they were notified to be here. I know
Who
one
is
of-
this?
Ken and Calvin are the two gentlemen. One of them could not attend, they will be in Mexico, the other one was going to be here, but they are not. So. Can you what? postpone,
Yeah,
table,
postpone.
whatever.
How big the lots are or anything, I don't know, I didn't like it.
Well, they provided a,
I saw it. Yeah, I saw the plot.
is this just for a conceptual improvement and then go to the planning commission? Is that what it is?
That's all it was, but I
Yes.
still think they should be here
Well,
to
I-
explain this.
Yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't.
Yeah, that is all this was gonna be, was conceptual.
Because we did, truth and honestly, we met with them, they were looking at other parcels, other owners that I'm kind of showing you here, and I think prices just got a little high for that, so this is the development they came up with. Doesn't mean it's good, bad, or indifferent, but that was what they were gonna propose tonight, but they're not here. Correct.
Do you need a motion to table it till the next meeting?
Postpone till next, your whole subdivision, I know. Your whole subdivision, everybody in your subdivision should have got a notification, because we normally do a radius.
Yeah.
I understand this is a hot one for the neighborhood, so we are giving it to everybody so that you guys can see it through the process.
You got the notification?
The notification we got in the mail is for the next week's, planning commission meeting. I didn't get one on the board.
For this item?
Well, they
This
mail
item is
them,
also on,
they would have mailed that a couple weeks ago, or last week.
So is it coming to the planning commission?
No, it would have.
Oh, okay.
We have to send out a pre-notice for the planning commission weeks
Okay.
ago too, so.
and the only one we received in the mail was for next Monday's planning commission.
How did you know to come to this meeting then?
Because he watches like a hawk.
You're good.
Your agenda pops, it notifies us.
Yeah.
whenever
Yeah,
your
yeah.
agenda goes up, so many of our.
Gary, could you step to the microphone? When they were here, they asked if they could ask questions, so since we do have residents here and in open communication, I just, very briefly, if you could state your name and address, because you have been talking, but if you do have any comments that you want to provide, that are nice, but if you want to provide any comments.
My name is Gary Strombeck, 305 Badger Drive, member of the Lake Country Meadows subdivision, which borders this property. I've been before this podium before. And we just came to, wanted to listen to the proposal before we had any questions or concerns. Since they're not here to propose anything, I don't really have anything to say on this yet.
Okay.
So, but thank you again for sending out at least next week's agenda. So, anything for me while I'm here?
Ryan, are we removing that from?
No,
Yeah, so this won't be on Monday's agenda.
this will not be on Monday's agenda.
Very good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sandy, can you notify them? Just email them and they are now into May.
Yeah, I would just say put it back on the agenda when they come forward and they're not on vacation, or they can be here, you know. Right, no, but, you know, when they can, when time allows. You know, I really don't know, because I almost see it as, since they're not here, we have been carrying a policy, and I think it's safe to say, since they're not here, it's just, there's just no action. Oh,
No?
he asked about it.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't mean they can't bring it back up.
Okay.
Like, if we table it, it puts dates, if they wanna bring it up in 3 months or 2 months or
Okay,
whenever.
okay.
This way, we're leaving it up to them, they have to resubmit, it was on the agenda, but it's almost like, hey, they didn't carry through.
And I know not every neighbor's ever gonna wanna come, but you know this is streaming live on YouTube for those. Okay, there's 10 people watching, so.
Oh, he knows, believe me.
Sure. Not everybody wants to come.
Okay, now we have a presentation of the Consumer Confidence Report.
All right, so what I have in front of you guys in this packet here is the CCR Consumer Confidence Report for 2024. This report gives data on Village of Hartland's water distribution system as far as all of our wells, the depth of our wells, the chemicals that we are pumping into the water supply, and gives our testing results for the cumulative of last year, because it goes until December. So every year we post out the results from the year prior. This is on the summer rec guide. There's a QR code on the front page that's being sent out to every resident, so they can scan that, look at these results. There are copies here at the village hall, as well on our website. The one difference in this year's CCR is all that work we did with the service line inventory that we were assessed with the DNR. This is going back to the lead issue. Kind of Flint, Michigan was the trigger in this. But DNR tasked us with going on and finding out every private lateral that goes into a house, or service that goes into a house, I should say. So from the curb stop into the house that is privately owned, every single resident in the village of Hartland. We needed to have that information as far as the material and the size. So we set off 2 years ago, going into every single residence, either during a meter change or going out and asking them and sending them letters saying, can we get in your home and take a look at this material and conduct this information for the DNR. We have all of that now on a map that's on our village website that anyone can go into and log in and see throughout the entire village what that material is made of for their residents or anyone else. So that that information is included in the CCR. That's the only thing different. There's some information on backflow and cross connection with this report. And if there's ever any questions about the water quality in the village of Hartland or getting this documentation, you can obviously contact myself and the DPW. And that's
Big
all I
one
have.
is fluoride is gone.
Fluoride is gone. Yep. Phosphate was added. Phosphate was added because of the whole concern with lead. Phosphate coats the exterior of the pipe and make sure that the lead cannot leach out into the water supply. That's the purpose of that. That was a DNR requirement. That was something that we did not opt to do. That was forced by the DNR to make that adjustment.
So in here, just all the PFAS, those are the big water range ones that everybody's getting with their drinking water. Our numbers are all within range. And then I believe somewhere in here, I wanted to just point out, do you know what our hardness is? I know, it should be.
Hardness is at 23.
So when
that's
you set
a
your
question
water
I get
softener.
consistently. So our water in the village is hard. I get that quite often on.
Right, but when you have a water softener, you can set it to a hardness rating. So we're at
Correct.
23. And they'll look at your little flyer, they'll give you where you should put your water.
Not mine. That thing's old.
Tom, I have a question.
Yep.
The copper and lead,
Mhm.
I noticed that the dates, the sample dates are back in 2020.
Mhm.
They're almost 5 years old. How,
Yep.
those are kind of old.
So that's a 5-year requirement. So the sampling that we do is all conducted and given to us by the DNR and the requirements for that. They literally send us the sample pack and we go out and we test exactly what we need to test. We are actually doing that right now. We're in the
Okay.
process of that. We just had to reach out and grab an additional, I think, 21 sites throughout the village. And that lead copper service inventory is where we started with that. So any of the residents that had lead or galvanized, we reached out to first to try to get them as far as a testing area. And then after that, we did during the certain time frame where lead was used with solder. So within copper piping, because there was also a time frame where solder was acceptable with lead in it, which it no longer is. So those are the areas that we targeted in our analysis or our sample throughout the village, and then we went from there. So we just submitted those to the DNR for approval as far as sample sites, and we will be testing that. But that is a 5-year requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Did you find anything questionable or new that we haven't had before?
No, the biggest thing that's coming up, and I didn't really want to bring it up or talk about it, is PFAS, kind of like Ryan mentioned. PFAS is going to be something that's coming down the pipeline as far as what we have to do with it. The DNR and the EPA hasn't set a standard or anything that they know of yet. There are levels that they consider that they would like to be in and levels that they're not, but there's no actual regulation yet of what to do, and I'm trying to get to as many meetings as I can about PFAS as far as what other communities are doing and what they're having to do. Because if that is something we do have to act on, one of our wells is close to that range, but it's just under it. So it's kind of on that edge line of having to put a treatment system in. But once again, nothing has been approved, nothing has been solidified from the DNR or the EPA on that. And that's all I got.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Words.
Thanks, Tom.
The ones you were just on?
PFAS.
No, go down. I want to see that word again. Right there. That's some wild words right there.
Tom, could you say that, please?
No.
Perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl. It
The-
sounds like a drug trying to say alcohol.
The levels that they
Alcohol.
test on
Right,
some of these,
alcohol.
especially PFAS, is just crazy amounts. So.
Thank you, Tom.
Yep.
Now we have a presentation of the Fire Department Annual Report.
Buckle up, here we go. So, cover page obviously is the house we had acquired on North Avenue that we used to train in last fall, and then let it go and burned it down for the homeowner, so. Slide 3, we'll go to right away. 2024, the Hartland Fire Department answered 1,167 calls for service. You see how they're broken down. 831 were Village of Hartland calls, 92 were Town of Merton for EMS. And on the fire side, we had 217 for the Village of Hartland and 27 for the Town of Merton. I'm gonna fly through this. If you guys have any questions at any time, please stop me and we'll go from there. Or at the end, whatever you decide. Let's see. Slide 5 is our call volume history. Since 2012, our call volume has steadily increased. The last 4 years, we've had over 1,000 calls for service out of one single station. Highest call volume in a single month was December of '24. We had 126 calls for service. They wanted 150, but I said no. This was the last achieved in June of 2023 with 115 calls for service. Our highest total calls for service in 2024, again, we answered 1,167, and that was last achieved in 2022 when we had 1,137. Slide number 7 is our ambulance rate survey. In January of '24, a rate survey was conducted with paramedic service providers in the surrounding areas. The blue bar indicates the 2023 rate prior to the rate survey, and the orange bar indicates the new and current rate for the February of 2021. So the categories, a little explanation on those. BLS, resident and non-residents, that's basic life support. So that's EMT basic, doing a transport and anything like that. Our ALS resident and non-resident, so that includes airway management, high-quality CPR, rhythm recognition, defibrillation, cardiac arrest management, IV access, and medication administration. So the ALS 2 resident, non-resident, again, it's a higher level of pre-hospital care provided by paramedics, where the advanced life support previous to that would be the step down at the I-12 level. So the paramedics can do the train to administer a wider range of medications, and their skills include manual defibrillation, cardioversion, endotracheal intubation, central venous lines, and cardiac pacing. BLS on-scene care resident, non-residents, those provide care but refuse to be transported. So they do get a bill depending on what we do on that. So such as wound care, splinting, oxygen, or blood glucose monitoring. ALS on-scene care resident or non-resident provide care but refuse transport again. ALS invasive skills performed, so IV and injection, ALS medication given, 12-lead EKG interpreted. Additional fees increased for by $100 for non-resident transport or non-transport. Mileage was not increased at that time. So next one is our ambulance billing revenue, 2024 charge breakdown. So our total gross charges were $1,042,094.20. Contractual allowable, so that's contracts with the insurance companies, was $415,980.22, and the net charges were $626,113.98. So our total revenue received as of this month is $324,729.28. They're still in the process of collecting 2024 revenues. 72% of our payer mix is Medicare and Medicaid provided. Just so you know, Medicaid pays 25% or less for services provided.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Can you just touch on, because this is an important one, the darker blue was the total?
Charge. Total billed.
Total billed.
Correct.
The light blue is what you got only from insurance companies.
That's what we've received so far. That includes Medicare, Medicaid, insurance companies, and then whatever insurance doesn't pay for that we bill the customer. It's, yeah.
Your orange is your Medicare write-off.
Does it include that too, Julie?
Yeah.
Medicare? So obviously insurance companies say contractually, this is what we're gonna pay, no matter what, okay? So then that's part of what gets taken off automatically. Same thing with Medicare and Medicaid. Then they go to secondary insurance and then to the person that we transport, so.
And this is what I wanted to ask on, and I had it happen to me. But if you go to the doctor and your insurance doesn't cover it, you're still responsible personally. Do we still charge that person for the remainder? Or,
Via Medicare, you cannot.
not Medicare,
No, right.
I'm talking insurance companies, like let's say I have insurance through my job. And
Correct.
my insurance says, no, we will only pay $342 for the call.
Right.
the additional, whatever it is, $1,000 or $890, that would still get billed to the person.
Correct,
And
yes.
hope that we would get that, and it would just be like, because they called us, we're not we don't have a contract with insurance.
Right, exactly, correct.
I just wanted to clarify.
Yes.
So of the money that we're supposed to have, how much have we been paid this year already? I know we're supposed to have
the-
1 million.
The 324, 729 is what we've
The
been
light
paid.
blue.
So about 32%.
Yep. So currently, we are working with the state and our billing company on getting more Medicare and Medicaid payments. Actually, they're going back to 23. So Ryan has filled out a bunch of stuff from the village. We're waiting on our billing company to send us results for that. Then that'll get put in. They're talking maybe them paying up to 60%, but we'll see. We'll see where that all falls. It's a lot of work that we have to put in to try and get some of the money, some more of the money back, so. So that's what we're working on that. Again, our total average days in billing is 71, with the highest days in billing being 108. So we surpassed the average goal of 90 days in billing. So that's, once the customer gets the bill, the final bill from us, it's 71 days that it takes to get to that point, so, which is really good. Again, the billing revenue comparison, that's on slide 10. Kind of go through those numbers. It breaks it down more. So the increase in gross charges from 23 to 24 were due because of the increased call volume by 78 calls and the increase in the ambulance rates that we were discussed earlier in the slide 7. So we go to our staff breakdown. So administrative staff, myself, DC Sharp, and Julie. Our dual certified staff, we have 10 firefighter paramedics. We have 3 firefighter advanced emergency medical technicians and 24 firefighter emergency medical technicians. We have 1 I-99 or I-12 person yet, 2 advanced emergency medical technicians, and 5 emergency medical technicians that are only single certified. Fire staff only, again, 9 firefighters with only firefighting. We have 1 MPO, motor pump operator, and HEO. He does both trucks and engines. And then we have 8 auxiliary staff, ranging from people who just come and help out on bigger events or pancake breakfast to CPR certified instructors that help us out teaching CPR classes. So total staff of 64 and counting. Slide 14 is our 2% dues for the Village of Hartland and the Town of Merton. Our 2% dues revenue for the Village of Hartland and the Town of Merton is received by completing and documenting the following: 635 fire inspections, educating 663 students, and hosting 35 fire prevention classes. We taught 18 CPR classes, held numerous fire and EMS trainings. We have a successful joint Bark River Explorers post with Village of Merton. We held 12 trainings with them. We attended 33 public relations events, participated in 6 escorts, and supplied an ALS ambulance standby for 16 events. Those events all get charged back to the high schools, and we get paid for those at the end of the seasons. So that just kind of breaks down how that money gets sent to us. We have to keep track of all this for the state. The state will come in and do an audit every year, and that's how we get that money.
And you call it 2%, what do they just take 2% of whatever?
Yeah,
2% of equalizer.
Yeah,
It's called 2% dues.
yeah, that's just what they call it for us.
I think we have to expend 2% of our budget maybe on this, or that, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
But so we get 94,000 from them, plus some change.
correct, yeah,
Okay.
78 through the village, and then the town pays us 16,822. So as part of what we cover for them, so.
So they would get the 2% and then they shuffle it over to us?
Correct.
Because that's, okay.
Correct. Yep. Next slide is our swearing in of the full-time staff last year. So we put the 2 on last year. Brian Thomas and Griffin Casper. Griffin was the one that was called to duty in July and came back to us in November and December. Brian Thomas was the other one. Shortly after he was sworn in, he applied for the lieutenant spot and received that. So he's one of my full-time lieutenants now. Great guy. Love everything he does, and he's very passionate about the Hartland Fire Department. So 18, 19, and 20 is just our space needs presentation to the village. So just kind of going over those slides quickly, that station was built in 1964. The back half was added on and the wings in 1974. 1978, we started our first EMS services with one part-time chief and all POC responders. So that was back when everybody lived in the village that was on the fire department. So 96, we were one part-time chief, 2 full-time firefighter EMTs, and then assigned POC crews. 1998, the station roof was redone, went from a flat roof to a gabled roof. We were having lots of problems with it leaking, so. Part-time chief, and I know this because I lived it, so. 2012, a part-time chief, full-time assistant chief, and a part-time administrative assistant, and 2 part-time firefighter EMTs assigned to POC crews on a 24-hour basis. 2014, full-time chief, assistant chief position was open and never got refilled. We had 1 full-time firefighter paramedic and 1 part-time firefighter EMT during the day and assigned POC crews. Office space in 2016 was converted to the dorm rooms. 1 full-time chief, 1 full-time firefighter paramedic, 1 part-time firefighter EMT during the day. 2 paid on-premise overnight staffing spots were added, and then POC responders. 2018, we became a paramedic service. 1 full-time chief, 3 full-time firefighter paramedics on a 24/48 rotation. 1 part-time firefighter EMT also with them. 2 paid on-premise overnight staffing spots were added, and POC responders. 2019, Julie was moved to the full-time administrative assistant. We had the 1 full-time chief, again 3 firefighter paramedics, 1 part-time firefighter, and 2 paid on-premise overnight staffing spots. 2024, again, paramedic service, we had the 1 full-time chief, 1 full-time administrative assistant, 3 full-time firefighter paramedics, 2 full-time firefighter paramedics on 40 hours per week, and 1 part-time firefighter EMT, 2 paid on-premise overnight staffing, and POC responders. Next we'll go to the incident command truck. So the truck was put into service in June of '24. The village purchased the vehicle, and proceeds from our Firefighters Association Give Me a Par golf outing were used to purchase and install the incident command extend-a-bed as well as the lights, siren to outfit this truck and the cab. The extend-a-bed features 3 radios that can operate 3 different channels at one time to monitor incident communications. 3 whiteboards for accountability of firefighters, apparatus, and staging operations. The vehicle holds additional equipment for incident command operations. Slide 25 is fire prevention photos, so pictures of 5K students learning stop, drop, and roll. HFD runs an interactive scenario-based fire prevention program for age 3K through 2nd grade. The K3 and 5K, our focus for the kids is not to be afraid of firefighters, know how to get out and stay out, never hide from a firefighter, crawl below the smoke, and know how to call 911. We make sure that the kids see the firefighters in and out of their gear so that they know they're the same person. 1st and 2nd grade students advance to the Survive Alive house where they go through the scenario of getting out of a smoke-filled house. We have received great feedback from the parents and teachers regarding our program. Couple more. So our Bark River Explorers post, they do pretty much everything we do, except they can't go into live fire with us. So they do extrication. It's a joint venture with the Village of Merton Fire Department. The Explorers consist of high school students who are interested in joining the fire service who meet and train monthly for 2 hours. The Explorers also participate in public relations events with us, including the Pancake Breakfast, National Night Out, and the Hometown Celebration Parade. In this photo, the Explorers trained on all things extrication. The Explorers practice vehicle stabilization, utilize the following extrication tools: the spreaders, the cutters, sawzall, and window punches. This is a great opportunity for these high school students to get hands-on training to prepare them for the next step for after graduation. So kind of just to add on to that, we've had a number of kids that have turned 18 and joined the department as part-time members because they loved being here with us. We also have 3 that are Explorers this year that just got accepted into the dual enrollment program at WCTC. So they will actually graduate from high school next year with firefighter 1, firefighter 2, EMT basic, and college credits towards their associate's degree, so. It's a great program. I've always said to them, I wish that was available to me back when I was a kid, so. Yeah. Yep, Tyler. So, great kids. They love what they do with us. So slide 29, it goes through our total house burn down. Live fire training began at 06:30 in the morning with the total burn down scheduled between 10 and 11 a.m. Crews from multiple agencies were on scene to protect the homes on North Avenue, north and south of the burn. Crews completed 6 evolutions of training before the final burn down. 8 total instructors assisted the crews in fire suppression and overhaul in live fire conditions. Instructors on the day of the training were from the following departments: the City of Brookfield Fire Department, Western Lakes Fire District, and the Hartland Fire Department. Mutual aid partners participated in the burn down were the Village of Merton and Western Lakes Fire District. Swearing in ceremony, so at 1 year, all of our staff that have been there for 1 year get sworn in and get their badges and lapel pins. So 9 members received their badge and collar brass after they successfully completed 1 year with our service. And then full-time firefighter paramedic Brian Thomas was sworn in and received a promotion to lieutenant, so. Some of the events that we were involved with, slide 35, the Wall That Heals Escort. 36 and 37 are the Hometown Celebration Parade. Everybody loves that. That's a all hands on deck that day. 38 and 39 is Pancake Breakfast. Again, we had a record-breaking year. We served 635 people that day. And then Flight for Life actually showed up. Sorry, little salty. Hartland Food Pantry. Although HFD didn't win the award for Creative Bin, we won for most food received. And then the last slide is the Hartland Lights.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Yes, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. We have announcements, and I'll tell you right now that I'm gonna ask that we push off that training. It's too late.
Just pulling it up.
Huh?
It's just pulling it up.
I don't care if you're pulling it up, you can sit and watch it. The board is going,
How long is it?
30 minutes each,
How
or
much?
half hour each.
We'll schedule it for the next one. We'll get it done. Do you want to do announcements?
Yeah, announcement. Actually, since we already touched on that, I'm gonna touch on that anyways, even though it's out of order. Here's how we're gonna do this. There's a I don't know if there's a jump drive.
I'll email.
Hold on.
Okay.
But if someone doesn't come in and sign that they took it, then at our next meeting, they gotta come in and watch it. Or we're gonna do it in the middle of a meeting, not after a meeting. We'll literally do it after a meeting if anybody doesn't have it, but everybody's gotta be on record as taking it. So if you wanna take a jump drive home or have it emailed to you and watch it at home, and then send a letter saying that you're fully aware on sexual harassment and retaliation policy and on the cybersecurity, then you can do that.
Yeah, if it could be emailed, that'd be great.
Yep.
Already there.
So if people wanna do it
Already
at
there.
home, they can, but otherwise they do have to watch it because I don't, the first thing people always do, what the village, sexual harassment's the same way. I mean, that people do it all the time, or retaliation if it's an employee, like what did the village do to protect people, so. But that's a great way to get out of it. If you do that, then you don't have to watch it at the meeting. We have announcements. Well, actually, I'll take a vote on it because we do have I don't know if
We're at announcements
you guys
first.
okay with that? Okay.
I'd like to have Sam give a little introduction of herself, just kind of welcome yourself to the board, and sorry to put you on the spot.
Sure, that's all right.
Hello, as you all have heard, my name is Sam Blonian. I am coming to Hartland with over 12 years of professional recreation experience. Most recently, I was assistant recreation manager for the city of New Berlin, where I was overseeing the day-to-day operations, facility management, youth sports, and the full-time staff team. UW Whitewater alum, and I am really happy to be here.
Thank you. Welcome.
Very
Welcome, Sam.
Very happy to have you.
Thank you.
What's going on with rec?
Sure, let's jump right into it. So right now we're kind of finishing up T-ball rosters. So coaches are going to be getting emailed to do their background checks, and then we'll have everything set to go for our coaches meeting that Heather and I will be running second week of May. That's going to happen. Heather set up last week. We met with Wenzel Amazements for the carnival for hometown. So we kind of did a walkthrough. Tom was there too, kind of helping out with everything that we're going to need with that. We're finishing up hiring our camp staff. Heather's been crushing it with that right now. We have one more interview, and then I think we're going to be pretty well set with staffing, which is exciting for us going into both of our first summer of Hartland Day Camp. And then our pickleball program started outdoors today. So we got that underway. Heather's been working really hard with that. And then our summer program registration is going to open up at the end of this month.
Heather, did you change your last name?
I will be, but not till after, we're going to Florida next week, so I'm not doing that with trying to travel and, you know, flying.
Yeah.
Just got married, so I just wanted to.
Congratulations, Heather.
But I will be, yes, I will be, like, when I get back from Florida.
Sam also failed to mention, I believe you had a lot of work with special events.
Yes. Yeah, I was in charge of all of our special events with New Berlin, and actually every previous position I've been in, I've been part of special events, running them and organizing them. So I come with a lot of experience and ready to jump head first into hometown.
Sweet. Love it.
Your turn.
Awesome.
All right, so Highway 83 is closing down as of today. Well, it was supposed to close down as of today. It hasn't yet because I drove through there 4 times today. But
Tonight
they are,
too?
huh?
Tonight too?
I will be trying to at least. We'll see what happens if I get stopped by barricades or not. So the section that they're working on right now is, or the closure is supposed to happen on right now, is from April 14th to early August. That is going to be North Shore to Cardinal Road. And I think that's going to be the biggest portion of their work, because as we have found out with some of our projects, that's through Marsh. So they're going to be doing a lot of undercutting and everything else like that to get that pavement up to spec and where it needs to be. After that, they're going to be June 9th through the August 11th. They're going to be going from Nagawicca Road to Oakwood Road. After that, Gulf Road to Nagawicca Road. And then after that, Cardinal Road to Vedelson Bridge. It's going to be open to local traffic throughout the entire time, but no through traffic. The DOT has posted websites and put things out there that are on our village website too. There's even a QR code to scan to get updates on the project. I'm sitting in on weekly meetings for that project just to keep the residents educated as far as what's going on with that. So I'm getting a lot of questions about that. So truck traffic, everything else like that. We have maps posted up at the village hall, and I have that knowledge in the back of my head too. So we're trying to put as much information as we can out there about Highway 83. They were supposed to be sending out mailers to anyone that was directly affected along 83. I've heard from some of the residents that they have received those notifications. So if you have any questions about Highway 83 closing down, I'm your guy to talk to. Now our paving program is starting. We just had a pre-con today. We're gonna be starting on April 21st, which is next week Monday, on East Park. That's supposed to run to May 7th. The idea for starting on May 7th or ending on May 7th is we want to get it done prior to our splash pad opening. We want to get this area paved right here by Nixon Park prior to us having big events and everything like that. So that was our #1 priority, was getting that area done. After that, we're jumping onto West Park and West Capitol. If you've noticed, there's been construction work on West Capitol. That's our utility project starting. That was kind of a shift in direction because we're not paving Cottonwood this year, so we needed to do utility work on that road and paving within the same year, which is not normal for us to do. But that's what we're doing over there, so West Capitol will be done, and hopefully will be done before they do the portion on 83 Cardinal to the Bettleson Bridge. So we're actually gonna be done with West Capitol prior to the state being done with the section that they're working on right now. Is the goal, and that's what the schedule predicts, and hopefully we don't get a ton of rain or anything like that, but it is construction. So after that, Four Winds we'll be into, and then River Reserve. The last is the cemetery. We are repaving again this year. That's our upper cemetery off of Hill Street. So brush pickup started today. Get your brush to the curb unless you live in Hartridge. Hartridge is 75% done, so there's a portion of that would be our furthest southern portion of Hartridge that wasn't completed today. Other than that, we go through the village and make one stop and one stop only and pass through. If there's any questions about that, we do have all the specs and stuff like that for the size of brush, 10 feet long, 6-inch in diameter, no stumps, no grass, no leaves, no dirt, none of that stuff that we can send through a chipper, because when we start throwing that stuff through a chipper, we're spending tons of money on blades and our chipper and everything else, even the tub grinder and stuff like that. They're gonna charge us extra hours and downtime when we grind in the fall, and that gets expensive very quick. I think blades on our chipper are $800 to $900 just for blades, so that can add up quick. Recycling yard is also open except for this week because we have Good Friday, and it's not the second or the fourth Tuesday of the week, or of the month, I should say, sorry. So we also have that option too. Our waste site is open. We have moved our location as far as entrance into the yard waste facility. It's not at our front gate anymore, it's towards our back gate, where there's a tight corner that all the residents pull around, and we were having some near misses with that, so we decided to move it further down all the way on Progress Drive there to the dead end, and then you take a left and you're into the gate, but it's not gonna interfere with any of our traffic or anything like that. It's a bad blind corner, and we've finally decided to move that, so we do have signage up for that, but any residents that have any concerns with that, contact me, but we're trying to post as much as we can. Hartbrook Playground Unit has been installed, but we still have a lot of work to do as far as adding the chips to it, and we have to pour a concrete slab to that, again, kind of like we did with Nixon and just like Centennial. So that's still gonna take some time because we're off for probably a week and a half with brush pickup and everything else that's picking up. Got a concrete pad to pour for a Hartland sign and stuff like that, so we're gonna get to that as soon as we can. But Hartbrook Playground is actually ahead of schedule, which is awesome to say, because a lot of people are calling about reserving that shelter and want to make sure that the playground unit's up and running, which makes sense, you know. That's why they're renting it, most likely. We, unlike the rec department, are still looking for summer help. We have not gotten as many applicants as they have because, I don't know why, but I think cutting grass is fun. So summer help, if you know anyone that's 18 years or older, I've said it a bunch of times, I'm sorry to sound like a broken wheel here, but we need guys or girls, anyone. So, parks open tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 15th, so parks are officially open. We opened all our bathrooms and everything like that. Turn water on and stuff like that. We have our first 2 ball preps tomorrow on Centennial and Nixon, so they're gonna be playing ball and everything like that. So we are getting ready to, well, we are rocking and rolling right now, so.
Which park gets redone this year? Ball field?
No ball fields are getting redone.
Okay.
Nope, we're gonna be
I was
talking
just
about that during CIP as far as, restoration of fields.
Okay.
Progress with the flagpole, thank you, Tim. So all the electrical work has been done and stubbed to the scoreboard, and we have the power to the flagpole. The light is up at the flagpole, everything's running, the scoreboard runs and works. We have to do the concrete around that flagpole, and we'll hopefully tie that in with the concrete for the sculpture that we just approved tonight too. We'll try to do both those pours at the same time, be as efficient as possible, so we can put those benches out there for the wall that heals and get that looking good too. So, yep, that's up and rocking as well. And that's all I have, I think.
Chief?
Well, since Cajal missed it, I'm gonna go through the annual report again. No.
I play that, no.
Yeah, you playing that. So just kinda to add on to the calls, we've averaged 100 calls the the last 3 months. So we're way ahead of what we were last year. Our pancake maker is done. It's in the station. We have to put the burners in it and just add an electrical cord, but stop in and take a look at it. The Quality Fabrication in the industrial park built it for us. And then Sullivan Precision Plate on the corner of Cardinal Lane there in the big curve. They took the plate for us and got the coatings off of it and shined it up, and it's ready to roll. So
Awesome.
we'll be letting you know when we're gonna break it in and dedicate it to the family that gave us the money to make that happen. So
Test day?
absolutely.
Protein?
Always.
Always. Nothing else really to report that's big this week or in the last 2 weeks at the department. Just still getting the new full-timers going with all their new tasks. Everyone seems to be working diligently on getting things going on the department, helping with improvements on equipment management, making sure things are up to par, up and working, and reporting it to me and chief as they find errors or find problems, and working diligently to fix them right away and get things going.
I have two, sorry. LexisNexis that you were talking about, that, I forgot that was 4 months of previous bills that we all got at once. They had a previous officer who sent, Deputy Chief Calero, who retired, they had his email, so we never got him. And that is a monthly service, and what that does is, phone number, they can look up phone numbers, find out who the people are, that type of stuff.
Got it, thank you.
The other item that I have to announce, we've been having meetings with Dwan Cherry of the Cherry Project across from the quarry. He is looking for the village to put money into the project. Village board members can let me know if they want to revisit this issue. We originally said no money, it's not a TIF. They're looking for about $500,000 from the village.
You can tell what I told you, because I said no.
Yeah, I'll let you do that in a minute. If anybody wants the village to contribute money, you can request for it to be put on a village agenda. I told Mr. Cherry to give me his writing in paper form, and I'll email that out to everybody. But obviously with tariffs, with just the cost of everything, the project is very expensive. He's been looking for funding. I told him the village has not done that in the past. The village doesn't do that unless it's in a TIF. So if somebody on the board really wants it, let me know and we'll bring it to an agenda.
Go off of that, Ryan had come through saying that, and I said I asked that he would announce it today. If a trustee wants it to be put on the agenda, we'll put it on. I'm not gonna put something on that I know that I'm not for, and that we've already addressed. But if someone wants to, I mean, a trustee can say, hey, I'd like to listen to it and see what they have to say, but I'm not for putting money into taxpayer money into the project. I think that developers, for the most part, should stand alone unless, like Ryan said, we're doing TIF or something like that, so. Congratulations, Heather. Yeah, we'll table.
I'll hit that on the file.
I really don't have a lot of, I hope we get this food truck thing figured out. And the beer gun's gonna be opening soon, so I think that that'll be exciting to, have that up and running, and we'll be back in the swing of things, summer Hartland. And hopefully we'll get it taken care of, so.
Should I include as one motion that we not only end today, but say that the harassment training and phishing and social engineering videos can either be done at home and signed off on, or at a later meeting?
Or we will do them at the next meeting.
Those who don't do their homework? I'd like to make a motion then that we adjourn and that we do the harassment training and phishing and social engineering video trainings at home or at our leisure on our computers and sign off saying that we accomplished that, or you have to do it at the next meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to, not only adjourn this, or we're just doing that part, right? You didn't actually adjourn, right?
I did.
Okay, so you did adjourn. It's been moved and seconded to allow for the watching and viewing of harassment and the phishing and social engineering videos at home. I asked that everybody email Ryan on that. It's been moved
They've
and
been emailed
seconded.
to everybody.
No, but I asked that people email you so you can say, yep, everybody watch them, because then we don't have to do it at the meeting. If people do it that way, I think it's the best way to do it. and then the village has proof of that, including for myself. That's the motion, sorry, the motion is to do that and adjourn, so when we approve this, it's to do that and adjourn the meeting. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? This meeting's adjourned.